In today's video, I will be going over my 2.0 tier list from kind of going to Genesis, seeing a lot of things, seeing how the buffs and nerfs changed a bunch of characters, and so here is my new tier list. I'm not going to be talking about every character, because again, I really don't want another 2 to 3 hour video, especially after editing, so I'm just going to talk about the notables, and I want to mention a couple things in terms of all the tiers. First off, there are only 2 tiers that are ordered, which is the second half of top tier and the high tier. The mid tier, the low tier, and the very, very top of top tier, none of those are ordered. I do not know who is better. As the game is going on, it's seeming harder and harder to accurately rank the very top and also kind of near the bottom of the game. But the middle of the game, I kind of actually have a fairly accurate opinion, at least, I mean, of course, in my mind, right? So for example, I do not think Mii Brawler is the definitive worst character in the game, nor do I think that King K. Rool is like 13th worst or whatever I have him there. It's hard to like count super quickly. There are just generally fairly lackluster characters that could use some assistance later and or someone to really push their meta. Mii Brawler is actually the worst Mii in my opinion due to the fact that he's really easy to combo and doesn't actually kill you particularly easy. He doesn't really have a kill aerial, he doesn't have really good specials because his up B got nerfed, or in terms of like helicopter kick, and it just seems really difficult to get anything you want to like kill with this character. You have to do hard reads on your smash attacks, your side B, things like that, and it's not really an optimal way to play considering people can just hold shield and the edge guarding isn't really scary. You know, the recovery is decent because you still have like your flip jump-esque type of thing, but a lot of the things this character does are kind of just punishable. I have played a couple and I'm just fairly generally underwhelmed by this character. Bowser Jr. I almost put in the tier above this, actually probably going to be the best character of this tier, but I do think this character struggles sometimes to deal with pressure. Not a lot of good quick out of shield options, the fastest being like up smash or nair, but up smash having a fairly small hitbox, especially horizontally. This character does have some combos in terms of like up throw can lead into a bunch of up airs at 0, but after about 10 or 15% that'll stop working. Just a lot of linear gameplay with this character. The down B's not particularly good, cannonball is still absolutely terrible. This character does have amazing aerials in terms of forward air and back air, and still has the cart changed, so it's not as bad as in Smash 4, but generally this character is underwhelming. The combos are generally not as good. Your kill confirms are kind of non-existent. You pretty much just have to, again, like Mii Brawler, read with like a forward smash on a ledge jump and up smash. You know, you can do that out of shield if someone's coming from above you, but that's not going to happen too often considering people should just be aware of that and kind of space it horizontally on you. And unfortunately still can die to a hit off stage that doesn't put you into tumble. And as Pikachu, I love that because I can just nair pretty much all the time and Bowser Jr. will just die, so unfortunately there. But Wendy, easily a mid tier. Ken and Ryu all talk about in the same kind of sentence because they generally do have a lot of the same problems, which is the fact that they do not have access to their back air because of the auto turnaround. The auto turnaround really good in specifically one instance, which is ledge trapping, due to the fact that if you're trying to up tilt the ledge and they roll, you will actually turn around, or if you down tilt something like that, that is really good. But generally this character really underwhelming. Their combos difficult, and can be maybe optimized in the future, so he may go up in the future, but I feel like up tilt sending farther out for Ryu and Ken is really difficult to get Shoryu confirms. You're not just going to be able to up tilt fast fallers over and over again, and that was a huge draw of the character. Their up B not snapping the ledge means that it's really easy to edge guard them. Their up B not having invincibility frame 1 means it's really easy to punish them, or way easier, it's way less scary to punish them because you have 3 extra frames to punish. I mean, yeah, they can shield, but generally if you're going to do an add a shield option, it's not going to be really easily shield punished, so that's really bad for them. That's incredibly bad for them. Just everything seems more difficult with this character. If it's not a hold forward type of combo, it is so difficult because you're going to have to do instant raw back airs, and you can't even attack cancel if you have to full hop the back airs. So it's just, this character just kind of has a lot of struggle. A bad projectile, not being able to deal with multi-hits, getting very easily edge-guarded, honestly getting out-damaged by most characters in this game, getting out-killed by a lot of characters in this game, and that was their real draw, so that actually is crazy. But yeah, I don't think this character is very good. I feel like they have to fight too hard against their own character, like the players have to fight too hard against their own character to really do well with this character. Isabelle is a generally underwhelming character. I feel like she doesn't have enough traps to make up for her lack of combos, her lack of damage output, and the ability to just easily edgeguard her, and her lack of neutral. I just feel like the down B fairly underwhelming. Fishing Rod, you can shield it, and it's really only good when your opponent is off stage or trying to get back on the ledge. Slingshots are really good, but this meta is honestly getting kind of dominated by characters that are short or that dash kind of short. So, doing instant short hop back airs or instant short hop forward airs isn't going to be as effective against a lot of the characters that you're going to want to play against, and edge guarding is so big in this game that I feel like not being able to like just throw out like a Lloyd rocket to cover your recovery is just really bad, and a lot of characters can just hit her over and over again out of her balloons. Not a good look. I used to think Zelda was a lot better in this game, but unfortunately after looking closer at one of her best tools in Smash 4, down tilt, and seeing how it has changed that it sends so much more horizontally out, I cannot justify putting this character very high. She has a scary out of shield option in terms of her up B, but if you DI away, it's really hard for Zelda to do slight angles to cover that and get the combo, although honestly, it's even just weaker than it was in Smash 4. You're not going to be dying to up B if you DI it correctly for until like maybe like 65. If she whiffs, she gets hard punished. Her neutral just generally is fairly lackluster. She doesn't have really fast aerials. She doesn't have pretty much anything safe on shield. Her one huge redeeming quality is her down B is absolutely amazing, considering you can just release it at any time. There's like 13 different stages of it. They all do different things. It's hard to tell as the opponent which one you are going to get. She does have some throw combos in terms of down throw nair, down throw up air, even down throw back air at certain percents, but it just seems really difficult to constantly cover most of the DIs, and you know, it's hard for Zelda to get grabs in the first place given the fact that her grab is so slow, it's so punishable, so if you whiff a grab, you will get hard punished and comboed, and her disadvantage is actually one of the worst things about her. Similar to Smash 4, if you pretty much avoid or look out for her neutral B, Nehru's Love, you will be able to just hit her over and over and over again, and it's kind of tragic. And she's not that heavy, and she's still floaty, so she will die to vertical attacks fairly easily. I don't know, this character, like, they should just give her back her Smash 4 down tilt where it lingered for 7 frames and popped you right up so she can get up airs, she can get spikes from it. I don't know, this character just seems like she's missing 1 or 2 things to be like an upper mid-tier character, but because of those lack of 1 or 2 things, she's going to be in low tier. Sheik in Smash 4 had one of the most unique things about her, which is very few characters had aerials that were safe on shield, and hers was forward air that can confirm into so much damage, and again was also very, very safe. However, in a game where most characters have an aerial safe on shield, that doesn't really apply to her anymore because she still has fair that is safe on shield, but most characters have aerials that are stronger, that are still safe on shield, that can still confirm into combos, so Sheik's, you know, kind of what made her special in Smash 4 is no longer there. Also, she doesn't really have forward throw 50-50s at kill percent. She doesn't really have anything at kill percent. It is so difficult to kill with this character. She might be the character that is the worst at killing in the entire game. Her damage output is one of the lowest in the entire game because forward tilt does like 3.5 and everything else kind of stayed the same from Smash 4, whereas almost every character in this game got a damage buff from previous games or, you know, have something to match it. Because everyone's jump squad is faster and people are more likely to jump in this game in general, her needles are less effective. She still can't really, again, her combos are long, but you know, you get hit by 7 attacks and it deals like 24%, so it's really not that big of a deal considering like Cloud can like landing fair cross slash for like 40. It's just everything about this character seems lackluster compared to a lot of characters other than her speed and her edge guard ability, but again, because her aerials are so weak, I feel like you're going to have to rinse and repeat a lot, and if a character has any type of good recovery, you will end up getting back against Sheik, assuming that you don't just use your jump really early. Kirby has one of the lowest air speeds in the game and is a character that is completely based on around aerial game. That's really not good. Yes, he has some crazy combos if you want to see a bunch of combos from zero against every character in this game, like the optimal combo. Captain L actually made a video about that and I will link it down in the description below. If Kirby had Jigglypuff's airspeed, this character would be a menace, but unfortunately, because of the lack of airspeed, his disadvantage is really poor because you can kind of just throw aerials out around where Kirby is and he won't really be able to do anything about that. Also, even if you whiff because Kirby like double jumped out, then Kirby can't punish you because of the low air mobility and because of maybe like not having a hitbox that's like on the bottom forward corner of where Kirby wants to be, or even the bottom back corner. So like back air and down air won't really hit people over committing. If anything, it'll trade because Kirby's disjoints also aren't good. You can trade with Kirby really easily, and yes, Kirby got a few buffs in the last patch, most namely forward tilt, but that move isn't good enough to kind of make up for everything this character is lacking. You know, like fairly small normals on the ground, or at the very least you can just trade with them or ping with them fairly easily, although down tilt is a pretty good move, and because of the low profiling, you will get around a lot of things. But I don't know, Kirby kind of struggles to kill until really you have like your kill throw, or unless you get like a landing down air, which is fairly obvious when a lot of Kirbys want to go for landing down air. So you pretty much have to rely on back air, your kill throw, you know, random smash attacks, or just hopefully landing a down air confirm. His aerial mobility is honestly not even enough to make him a good edge guarder, because if you whiff, you will have to just spend your time getting back to stage. It's not like, oh man, I messed up, time to just like drift back with them and then do like a falling neutral air like you can with Jigglypuff. This character just has to go back to ledge, or is just constantly trailing behind the other characters because of just how slow he is in the air. So unfortunately, I do think this character, not that great, pretty low tier. Little Mac got 2 buffs that do absolutely nothing for him in the patch, so Little Mac still has exactly the same same problems that he did pre-patch, which is obviously, namely, his recovery, the fact that if you try to side B and get hit out, you no longer have your side B for recovery, which is really bad. It's interesting to me that that mechanic exists, given the fact that there are multiple characters that have similar side Bs that don't lose them if you hit them out. So Peach's side B, you have Fox, you're the Spacey side B besides Wolf, so like Fox and Falco side B. Even Ridley and Diddy Kong have side Bs that kind of stay refreshed and you can always use them, but Little Mac doesn't have that privilege, so if you hit him out and you read his side B and you hit him out, now he's going to actually die, has to rely on his air dodge, which is literally programmed to be one of the worst, if not the worst air dodge in the game. I think it was Little Mac and Bayonetta that are programmed to have a worse air dodge than most characters, so absolutely tragic. And obviously if you juggle this character, he has to rely on counter or hard like fast fall air dodges to get around people, and it's really difficult considering you're never actually scared of his aerials, so you can kind of just poke aerials from like the very tip of your range. If you fast fall air dodges, you can do a landing air dodge and then kind of punish. You don't have to go super aggressive for your juggles, so this character just struggles. Yes, does kill very early, still has decent combos, has a bunch of super armor, has trample. This character does have things going for him, and so if you get your game going, or if you are like outsmarting your opponent, you can do pretty decent. I know Soul's Little Mac has won some locals in Florida and has done fairly well at other tournaments, but overall, this character is constantly struggling and is also one of the most inconsistent characters in the entire game. So even if you are playing your game amazingly, you can be up 3 stocks to 1 and then just get back thrown red 3 times and then just die. And that can really happen with this character. So unfortunately, I do have to put him into low tier. Robin feels incredibly underwhelming to me. Losing Arc Thunder confirms into grab is a huge deal. Losing checkmate at death percents, like as a kill confirm, is in my opinion a huge deal, because now against Robin, you are only really scared of Robin's aerials and potentially getting edge trapped by like down smash and arc fire and things like that in order to get kills. If you stay on the ground, it is much harder for this character to kill than it used to. So a lot of the buffs that this character got otherwise feel kind of inconsequential, because now you're not scared of getting grabbed at 85. You're not scared of Arc Thunder hitting your shield when you're at 90 or hitting you when you're at 70. This character has to play a lot more of an honest game, and you know, I feel like too slow and too abusable in a lot of ways to play a real honest game. Yes, L Thunder got better and is now easily Robin's best Thunder move. Also, I feel like just Small Thunder is pretty good for interrupting people, but again, as I mentioned, a lot of short characters are pretty relevant in this meta, or at least mid-height type of thing, so a lot of characters can crouch under all the Thunder moves that Robin has, so camping isn't going to be as effective. Probably the biggest buff that this character got, however, was Arc Fire now travels a lot farther before disappearing in the air, so you can actually use it out of short hops to still hit the ground, and so it makes edge trapping for this character much better, because now you can't neutral get up, so you pretty much have to either like wait it out or try to get around it before, or maybe like try to smack it, but that's really scary. So this character does have edge trapping tools, but if you are patient enough or understand how the Robin does stuff, or you know, Robin, God forbid, runs out of arc fire, this character now can no longer do anything except for kind of like wall you out with sword and just hope they guess right on your ledge option. Like, I don't know, Robin seems more like a gimmick of just like, oh, you hit with Thoron and that's really good. You know, like if you understand how to play this matchup and you play patient against Robin, he loses or she loses depending on which one you play. A lot of options. So I don't know, this character relies on gimmicks and relies on matchup unfamiliarity, but if you are familiar with it, I do think this character not good. King K. Rool was already kind of going down the tier list as people kind of figured out how to play against this character. I know that I made a video about how to deal with King K. Rool, and then he got nerfed in like 3 pretty significant ways, being down throw is worse, up B is worse, and neutral B does not allow you to hold it for as long, so it's a lot worse for ledge trapping. Those 3 things are huge for K. Rool. They're actually huge. So now you have a character that you can bait out the super armor, you can kind of trade with him while trying to edge guard him, which is a big deal because that was one of the biggest things, was he could go as far off stage as he wanted and would make it back and was really hard to mess with unless you had time to go to the side of the character. Now you can just trade with spikes, you can trade with on-stage smash attacks, you can 2-frame. Like, this character lost a lot of the utility that he had because of those nerfs. Still doesn't have a lot of combos, still doesn't have crazy damage output, pretty much has to hard read your opponents in order to like, oh, you're gonna swing, time to throw out armor and hit you, or you're gonna swing, time to down smash, or you're gonna grab, time to down smash. So yes, this character does get a lot of reward off of guessing right, but it feels more like a slightly more consistent Little Mac, where you can get a lot of damage, but you can also just kind of get bodied. And now we are in the mid tier, which honestly, I think the only bad characters in this game are in low tier, so anyone from this point up, in my opinion, is a fairly viable character, or at the very least, can be a very valuable secondary. And just so you guys know, mid tier, although it is not perfectly ordered, is still somewhat ordered, so the top characters of mid tier are going to stay around the top, but Dedede isn't necessarily 100% better than Ridley, is not 100% better than Bowser, Mii Swordsman, all in that order, but generally their placements are right from like plus or minus 2. Game & Watch lost two very important things from his Smash 4 variant, which was a kind of mediocre character in the first place, and also gained some things. He gained the ability to angle Chef, which is amazing for edge trapping. He gained up B at a shield being an amazing option, but two very important things that he lost, which in my opinion make the character worse than he was in Smash 4, is the fact that he lost his up throw, or rather his down throw, up air confirm, the toot toot as a kill confirm, so now Game & Watch definitely struggles to kill a lot harder than he used to, and also he lost the ability to up smash people and anti-air them quite as freely as it used to. Now the super armor, instead of being on the startup of the move, is after you release the smash attack, so it's much harder to time, and it's much harder to just kind of throw out as an option to be like, hey, get off of me, like that's not going to work, and that in my opinion is huge for Game & Watch. Also, up air in general is a bit worse. Like, it's decent for juggling now, but also the fact that it's like not like as obnoxious. Like, Game & Watch used to be able to keep people in the air for free all the time in Smash 4, and that is no longer the case. And also forward air being different, like it has some good. It's pretty good when trying to edge trap or trying to like just toss it off the stage and maybe make it a little bit difficult for people to recover, but also you can just hit it with any single move. Like, Game & Watch is so much worse at handling aggression. Like, he used to be such a good turtle due to back air and due to forward air and due to just grab being way scarier and due to up smash, and now he doesn't have forward air or up smash quite as handily, and his grab is like way worse. Now it's just like throw people off stage and try to edge trap them. I feel like a lot of Game & Watch's pressure is fake in this game, and I might be totally wrong because I haven't really played a good one, and unfortunately both Reggie and Meister did fairly poorly at Genesis, so I didn't get to see them on stream, but like I feel like that's kind of indicative of what I'm saying, is like those two players are amazing and have universally been doing well for the past like year or two, and then they just very much so didn't. I do think Game & Watch struggles a lot in this game. Rosa is actually one of the hardest characters to play in this game, and yes, she was pretty difficult at top level, but at mid and high level and even low level in Smash 4, she was fairly easy, so this is really, really different. Luma is a much less oppressive option. She doesn't juggle you quite as easily as she used to in this game, especially due to the fact that you have directional air dodging. This character just kind of struggles a little bit more in this game engine than you would expect, and also Luma doesn't go as far when doing things like jab, for things like forward tilt, down tilt, so she doesn't space as hard. And yes, that kind of changed a little bit in the patch now that down tilt kind of sends her a little farther away, but also another big deal is the fact that it is way easier, I feel like, to put Luma into tumble than it used to be. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, or maybe Pikachu specifically has more options, but I see multiple characters hit Luma way easier, and I don't feel like anyone actually plays Rosa in this game. I know Wadi is kind of expressing interest now, which is like really, really strange, but I mean, whatever. This character is incredibly difficult, and yes, has some crazy combos with attack canceling if you saw the My Smash Corner video, because wow, that loop is insane, but it just doesn't seem like she's worth the effort, especially considering she's still, you know, edge guardable. Luma is way worse, and now if you're Rosa without Luma, like, that's a pretty big deal in my opinion. Her kill potential is generally worse, her juggling is worse in general, or especially like a lot of characters' juggling got better, hers got a little bit worse, especially because Luma's up air is worse and Luma's aerials are different, and the fact that Nair for Luma is different is huge, and there's just so many little things that make this character worse. So in my opinion, like, fairly low tier. Definitely could go up as optimized for sure, but like Rosa was really good at the beginning of Smash 4, so if she ends up becoming like low high tier after like 2 years, like, that's totally fine by me. I could totally be wrong about Captain Falcon. I don't actually know. I just see Fatality complain about this character a lot, and I feel like he has a lot more flaws than he did in Smash 4, because landing up air and back air again aren't uniquely safe like they used to be, and also I think they're just less safe in general, and now also they don't even confirm into as much, because like landing Nair is actually the better option for Falcon, but Nair not safe on shield at all. This character's recovery, especially given the fact that edge guarding is a bigger deal in this game, is now more punishable. He gets comboed super hard because he's a fast faller that's also fairly heavy, so it takes a lot of damage from a lot of characters and doesn't do that damage back to other people. And yes, not being able to tech spikes is really nice, because if he gets a down air read, he can get down air knee, or down air landing up air knee, or down air like landing nair knee on platforms and things like that. But I feel like a lot of Falcon's good things are too situational for them to be like just universally like, oh my god, I'm so scared of insert thing. And now Raptor Boost isn't a kill move, so he lost one of the most consistent ways that he could kill, or at least like a way that he could kill. That was annoying because it like reared him back a super, like a huge amount, and now he doesn't have access to that, so that's a fairly big deal. Bayonetta just like straight up doesn't work. A lot of her moves just don't function and are minus on hit by accident, such as, you know, up tilt not having the final hit, such as forward tilt whiffing for no reason, or down tilt whiffing for no reason. This character just struggles to do so much, and yeah, she does a bunch of damage when she hits you with like an up B at a shield or with very specific combo starters, but she also can't really kill you unless unless she's getting you all the way off stage. So if you stay in center stage, Bayonetta struggles to kill you because you're gonna live until like 140 from a back air, and that's pretty much all she can do with that percent. Or like obviously if she lands a witch time, she'll kill you fairly early, but the witch time is so much worse than it was in Smash 4. Like she's not going to witch time back throw into down smash you at 0. She's not going to rage you off the top. She's not going to combo you off the top almost ever because her up air doesn't send up, so she has to actually forward air to get a combo. But if you're like SDI down, because SDI is still in this game and still fairly important, you're never going to die off of the top, so be cognizant of that. This character just like actually kind of doesn't function. I have no clue how Tamim got top 8 at Glitch. He is so talented, but this character is definitely a struggle. Speaking of characters that are a struggle, welcome to Luigi. So he still has his 0 to deaths, kind of. They're a little bit different, but also, I don't know if this is universal, but I played a Luigi that is very good at the 0 to death, and I SDI'd through him, like into him, and the combos kind of just stopped working. So I don't know if that is actually accurate or if that's a real thing, but if it is, that is a huge deal because this character's neutral is mediocre due to the fact that he lost his amazing dash grab, and this character's disadvantage states is one of the worst in the game because yes, he does have frame 1 invincible cyclone, but you shouldn't really be attacking him in disadvantage from like exactly in him. So if you just kind of space out like your up air, you should be able to like just juggle Luigi very effectively, and he has one of the worst and one of the most abusable recoveries in the entire game because he doesn't have cyclone that goes up. So if you can hit him out of a side B, cool, you hit him out of a side B. If he ever loses double jump, if he ever gets hit off stage after his double jump, he actually just dies. So he's really inconsistent, incredibly inconsistent. And even if characters, you know, get hit by the 0 to death, they can just camp on platforms for the first 20 to 40%, and now the character is going to struggle to do damage, the character is going to struggle to kill you. I don't know, this character, I don't think this character's that good. Villager, I feel like, got kept out by the DLC in Smash 4, and unfortunately, I feel like so many characters just kind of rose up to the challenge in this meta that I feel like he is still not a great character. Yes, he can still zone you out, and it's still pretty obnoxious to get in against him with Lloyd Rocket, with forward air and back air, because Lloyd Rocket covers the low angle that, you know, Isabelle can't, which is why I think he's much better than Isabelle. He still has Tree to edge guard and edge trap. He has Bowling Ball if someone has to recover low, and Villager is really good at sniping out people's jumps with forward air, back air, Lloyd Rocket, so that does happen a decent amount. I do feel like his jab having a finisher, like, or flurry attack, is actually worse for him because he used to have jab to axe confirms. He used to be able to jab way more safely on your shield, and now he doesn't have access to that, so I feel like that was actually a pretty big nerf. His down air is a lot slower, so he can't exactly just be like, oh, add a shield down air for free, oh, it spiked you, time to combo it into an up air. Like, that doesn't really happen anymore. Although the sweet spot of every turnip does obviously spike, but I feel like that is not a big enough deal considering the lingering hitbox is what was the best about it, and you know, just the fact that it's slower is a really big deal, especially for characters that have low falling aerials, or in terms of like falling and then landing on the ground, and if anyone pancakes. Due to the fact that he lost jab to axe, there aren't exactly solid kill confirms for this character, so you pretty much have to like read a ledge roll with an up tilt or an up smash, or get a bowling ball or a tree or like a sweet spot forward air and back air, and yes, those are all decent options, and there was, like I mentioned, like 6 or 7 options, but again, just the gameplay of this character, like the tempo of this character, is so slow and so awkward, and yeah, he can edgeguard kind of well, but I feel like generally people are better at edgeguarding in this game, so Villager actually gets edgeguarded more. Like, it's like the differential for like how hard he could edgeguard and then how hard his opponents can edgeguard in Smash 4 was like this, where him being way on the top, but now I feel like it's about even, because yes, he can edgeguard still, but a lot of characters now go off stage and edgeguard, which is not exactly good for him, so I feel like, you know, generally a place in the meta, like he still has a lot of tools, but he overall is fairly underwhelming. Ganondorf hits like 17 trucks, but then when you hit him, you might as well be hitting him with about half of those trucks because his disadvantage is terrible and his edge guarding, or rather his offstage game, is like when he's off stage and trying to recover is really bad. He pretty much can only try to counteract your edge guarding with like a double jump up air or a falling nair if you're below him. Like, this character struggles to do anything, and also the fact that you can mash out of his side B means that if you side B, like if he's up, then he can't just kill you, or if he's at the same stock, you don't have to just respect the ledge because you can mash out, and Ganon will generally die first against most characters. However, when this character does get going, he does a bajillion % and kills you at like 10 with forward smash or up smash or forward tilt or forward air or down B. Like, this character does so much damage and kills so early, so you definitely can get a lot of stuff going with this character, but again, he is fairly inconsistent, you know, kind of similar to Little Mac. Like, he's a much better version of Little Mac pretty much, but I do feel like this character struggles in a lot of important areas, especially in this game, and he's still slow, so his neutral isn't the greatest, unless you are a character that has to jump in order to get anything started, because then he can air to air you with neutral air, because that move, oh my god, that move is so good, but generally, I don't feel like Ganon has the tools to keep up with most characters. Corrin is the most lackluster swordsman in the entire game. I feel like she doesn't really have the neutral tools available to the other sword characters due to the fact that she is really slow, and Pin is so much worse than it used to be. Oh my god. The fact that it's not safe on shield versus the majority of the cast is huge because now it is actually risky to throw it out. Like, it used to be risky against 8 or 9 characters at most, but now it is risky versus the majority of the cast. Yes, her juggling is still really good and she still has really good aerials for covering like air and like air to ground or ground to air, like everything. This character like can juggle people fairly well, but that's kind of it. Like, I feel like this character doesn't kill that easily. Her recovery is a lot worse than it used to be because you can just smack it because they lost a lot of its invincibility. Like, I spiked Cosmos out of like the wings of Uppy once when I was playing him with Pikachu, and that was absolutely insane. Like, the fact that her recovery is worse, the drift doesn't exist as much anymore, there's less invincibility on it. I'm pretty sure like that is so detrimental to the character because now she can't just go off stage and try to kill you because she might die for it, whereas she pretty much didn't really die at all in Smash 4 to recoveries. There was only a few characters specifically that could edgeguard her. Dr. Mario is slow and still abusable off stage. Yes, his offense did get a bit better due to Pill getting better, Down B getting stronger, like Downer having, like, he actually has a spike now, which is really nice, but he kind of suffers the same things that he did in Smash 4, but now his grab is a bit scarier. So yes, he did get a little bit better, but not fantastic at all. Like, not really that good. Shoutouts to Luis though, the NorCal doc, because he puts in some work. A lot of die-hard Sonic fans have been complaining about this character and how he is played in this game. Obviously, he lost Spin Dash Shield Cancel, which was a big thing in neutral, and he lost his invincibility, or most of his invincibility, on his up B, so now he is a character that can get edge-guarded. However, he did gain one of the best moves in the entire game in terms of Spin Dash, because it is really fast, you can't really react to it, you can hold it for like a really long time, so it's not exactly easy to just kind of like bait and punish like it used to be in Smash 4, and this character doesn't have exactly crazy combos, does have some pretty simple like up throw nair, up throw up air type combos, but the damage output, unless you get hit by a down B, is fairly lackluster for this character, mostly going to try to get hits in advantage as he is so fast and kind of just like short hop up air, oh, you air dodge time to dash attack onto you, kind of rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. However, I don't feel like this character's ledge trapping is strong enough, so a lot of characters can kind of just retreat to the ledge and then get back on stage because of that, because you're pretty much only going to have to look out for like back air and forward smash, which if you just like kind of see what they want to do and kind of gain like what their opponent is doing, it's pretty much a hard read in order to hit someone off the ledge with Sonic, which is pretty unfortunate because he used to be able to cover a bunch of options and now can no longer do so. His disadvantage is still decent due to Spring, and a lot of the characters can't just like raid you off the top, which was a huge deal for him in Smash 4, but again, just his entire gameplay has changed, so he's not going to be the really campy, really defensive, really hard to hit type of character. Now he's kind of playing the mid-range, which is it's so weird, so I don't exactly understand how good this character is, but due to the fact that almost every single Sonic main is being like, man, Sonic sucks, or dropping Sonic, such as like Static Man, he doesn't play Sonic, or I don't remember what his actual tag is now. I know that Pelly doesn't play Sonic and he was like a big UK Sonic. People are struggling with this character and not having the results that they used to with this character, so I do think this character did drop off quite a significant amount. After Duck Hunt's side B got nerfed, I feel like this character is just too difficult to get a lot of damage with. Yes, you can still side B into forward air and side B into back air, but that's pretty much it. You cannot get side B loops. Can is so awkward to work around due to the fact that I think it sends you based off of the side that you got hit on by the can. Like, if you get hit on the back of your body, it'll send you forward, and if you get hit on the front of your body, it sends you backwards. Like, that is so difficult to time or get like edge traps or big punishes with like can to up air, so it's mostly just a keep away tool. And yes, down B did get better because it's now a kill move, but also, you know, the eyes flash, and so it's going to be harder to actually get hit by it, and if you kill the gunman, then they're down for like 10 or like 6 or 7 seconds, which is a big deal because now Duck Hunt loses the ability to use them as frequently as he used to. Like, I don't know, this character just seems to struggle, and yes, the character's recovery is better, but I don't see why this character is that great, considering losing Can is a huge deal. Like, Can being worse is absolutely huge, and side B not being broken like it used to, like, that was the best thing about this character, and now he just kind of struggles. And I'm pretty sure that Raito doesn't use Duck Hunt, and he was obviously the main candidate for like he was like a top 25 player with Duck Hunt in Smash 4, which was absolutely insane, but this character just seems like too difficult and not worth all the effort that you have to put in order to kind of like get there. Diddy Kong has a really cool banana-esque infinite thing on platforms, which is one of the coolest things in the entire game, to be honest, but I do not feel like this character does enough other than that. His damage output is fairly mediocre. His neutral, because banana is worse, is very, it's not bad, but it's not great. The fact that his short hop or jumps in general move you to the apex of the jump way faster means that his short hop forwarder is a way less effective tool versus a lot of characters, and also doesn't linger as long. Just most of his hitboxes in general have got worse, and yes, he did get some buffs in the patch, but Nair didn't really need a landing lag reduction, or I don't remember if it was that or the auto cancel window. I do not remember the wording of it 100%. But Diddy Kong is mostly going to be doing landing nairs, back airs, still down tilts, and trying to get banana, and that's pretty much all the character has. His recovery is a little bit different, but also I think a little bit worse because of the fact that the ledge snap is smaller, so people can hit Diddy Kong more easily out of it, or just like generally 2 frames are easier to hit against Diddy Kong. And a big thing is he lost his down tilt kill confirmed. He can't banana down tilt forward smash or banana down tilt up smash if you are DIing up and away. Can only really get down tilt instant reverse back air or down tilt forward air, which aren't exactly good enough to make up for the fact that this character doesn't do that much damage, or also like doesn't have a great neutral in terms of the top tiers or high tiers, or also doesn't like, it just doesn't, I feel like Diddy Kong doesn't hang with the good characters in this game and doesn't have anything that's like ridiculously good enough, like of a gimmick, or like one thing that's like, wow, that's ridiculous, to kind of make up for it. Zero Suit to me is still a very underwhelming character because she doesn't really have grab confirms, and her aerials just feel like what a lot of other characters have in this game. I feel like the best factor, or the best like thing about her, is the fact that she is so fast and she is so slippery and fairly difficult to hit. However, she doesn't really hit you particularly hard. Like, yeah, she gets like nair fair and nair back air and nair flip kick if you're at the ledge, which can still kill you pretty early, but it's kind of a game where like you kind of stay in center stage against Zero Suit and kind of play from there, or play like, you know, from center towards like the outside of the stage and not the other way around if you can help it. It just seems like she's an incomplete character to me. Like, that's what I feel like when I watch Zero Suit and when I play against Zero Suit, and it's really unfortunate because she's like a pretty cool character and she flows very well, but not having access to that grab means people can just shield her aerials, and yeah, they might be safe if she like spams jab, but then if she goes like aerial jab, then the jab is punishable, so it's constantly a 50-50 guess on the Zero Suit, and she will more than likely lose more out, because if you know, get hit by the jab, if you try to aerial her out of shield from like a neutral air or something, then oh, you got hit by jab, cool, time to like, you know, mash an aerial, like DI up so you don't hit the ground for a tech chase, and then kind of just move in from there, and she kind of has to do it all again. A nice buff that she got is the fact that her side B is better and actually has 2 variants, because you can hold it and get a hitbox that sucks you in, so at about 50 to 70% you can get like side B into back air or side B into reverse up B, and that's really cool, and just generally it is a lot stronger, way closer to the Brawl variant than the Smash 4 variant, but it is still not a great tool. It does not make up for the fact that she can't grab, and she just has generally a bunch of nerfs. Like, when I watch this character, and obviously I have a lot of Zero Suit experience, so I'm very much an expert at this matchup in general, it just feels like people are putting themselves in bad positions and then getting hit when they really shouldn't, but obviously that's me being a super critical mind and one of the best people against Zero Suit in the world, so I don't know, I just feel underwhelmed versus like against her or just watching her, but obviously she can still run circles around you and can do fairly well in certain matchups, especially like R.O.B or big body characters, but I feel like there aren't enough of those in top tier to really make her a viable character. The Belmonts had a very positive perception when they came out in this game because, oh my god, they can just run away forever and their ledge dropping is amazing and they have so much damage and look at how big these aerials are. And then as people kind of figured out what the character does, the character went lower and lower in people's opinions. If you kind of camp out down B when they use it on the ledge, they're not really going to be able to edge trap you. You know, the fact that you can go in front of them when they're trying to recover with the tether if they are too far away to go up B, and then the character will actually forward air you and hit you with the move instead of tethering to the ledge, just actually kills this character. That is probably the biggest development of anti-Belmont tech that was discovered. That is it's so impactful, because you know, if you hit the character far enough out to not be able to up B to the ledge, which is pretty easy considering up B doesn't go that far, now if you just jump out off stage, you will take the forward air, and that kind of sucks that you take hit, but also the Belmonts just die. That is huge. Yes, the Belmonts have a good out B out of shield. Yes, they have really good projectiles and are really annoying to get into for a lot of characters, but unfortunately their combo game isn't good enough and their damage output isn't high enough to warrant the fact that they're such a fragile character because of that tether thing. Like, that's such a big deal. Oh my god. And the fact that the only projectile that they can throw down is their holy water, which you can then catch and use it back at them, means that they don't really have a good way to land. Their only landing options are like their the dive kick down air, but if they're off stage they can't really land with that, or you know, their forward air angled down, and this character just struggles to get down, struggles to kill you actually now if you are patient on the ledge, and struggles very much so to get back on stage. So I don't feel like this character can be anywhere. Oh, also they're incredibly slow and have one of the worst aerial mobilities in the entire game, so they're really easy to juggle and they can't really run away from you effectively if you are keeping close to them. So this character, in my opinion, not that great. Wii Fit Trainer gains some very important things in this game, given the fact that deep breathing is a little bit better than it used to be. Dash attack now kills, and some of the hitboxes that Wii Fit Trainer has work a bit better. Still don't necessarily work on a bunch of short characters, but generally are better. This character's damage output is ridiculous. I've seen like 0 to 80% combos in deep breathing because the deep breathing damage multiplier at least seems better, or just like the damage output of this game is generally higher. So then add that to the multiplier, it ends up being ridiculous. This character does so much damage, can kill, can still camp you. However, I do think this character struggles in disadvantage because doesn't really have a lot of good hitboxes below, because you have like down air and then like the back hit of forward air, which isn't particularly great. So when you get in on this character, you can kind of hit her a lot, but that is fairly difficult for a lot of characters given the fact that she still has, you know, Sun Salutation, and the fact that you can like jump out of that like you can with every other charge, you know, neutral B, and also, you know, her volleyball or whatever her side B is actually fairly difficult to deal with for a lot of characters as well. But I feel like as people kind of figure out how to play against her, she will still kind of struggle to keep people away, but also she gets percent from it, and then also she can still kill you now. Like gaining dash attack as a kill move is absolutely huge, but I do feel like this character kind of a little bit too linear to be a super great character. I still think a very underrated character, but not great. Incineroar has one of the most notable buffs in Smash Ultimate's 2.0 patch, given the fact that his recovery is significantly better. However, being a significantly better recovery from the second worst one is still not great, so unfortunately he still can get edgeguarded, but now this character is not as free to edgeguard him, so some characters that aren't great at edgeguarding will still kind of, or will now struggle with it. This character's normals have always been good. Up air, back air, nair, just amazing aerials. You know, obviously he has revenge, so you can't really projectile camp him as most characters because he'll revenge and then run in and deal you a bajillion% and kill you at negative 7,000. However, the biggest problem with him is still the fact that he is a slow character. He can't really get in if people are playing the kind of evasive, passive, mid-range game that a lot of characters in top tier can, or even in high tier can, so he will still struggle to get around that, has to get hard reads in terms of side Bs, in terms of revenges, and it is still very difficult for him to get in on characters that can wall him out with actual hitboxes, so he's not going to get in as free as ever. And also, it's funny because after the buff to his up B, you know, he actually lost the ability to do his 0 to death because he can't just down throw up B people because it will not connect anymore, so that's kind of unfortunate. So he did lose one of the the strongest combos he had, but obviously that is still worth it given the fact that he is now a character that can go out and edgeguard, that can go out and, you know, get hit out there and still recover. But unfortunately, I do still think this character is mid tier, may be optimized for later, and definitely I could see him going up to like the top of mid tier, but for right now, kind of the middle. Falco had a lot of hype around him at the beginning of Ultimate, namely due to Leffen and Mango, but unfortunately I think this character is kind of just the same as Smash 4, but kind of functions a little bit better and has slightly better combos due to the fact that you're able to combo out of grab. The buffed recovery is also nice given the fact that you can drift forward and back out of side B, and it feels like Firebird does go slightly farther, but either way this character still struggles with short characters, can still get edge guarded, can't really combo outside of like 0 to 50 unless you hit like a rando side B, and just still kind of struggles to kill you, especially given the fact that up smash is worse. Like you're going to have to hit a back air, which is now harder to hit since it's not frame 4, or a forward air, or an anti-air up smash, or maybe like down tilt at like 145. Like this character doesn't have super great killing options, and he is so fragile due to the fact that I feel like he's not great at landing, so he gets juggled. He's obviously a fast faller, so he does get comboed fairly hard, even if he isn't that heavy. Pac-Man's forward air is an incredibly good move, and then is still Pac-Man the character. Apparently the buff that was said, and a bunch of you commented, and thank you for informing me, is the fact that the fruit will last longer before they disappear, so Pac-Man can pick them up easier. I think that is actually a very interesting change, and is going to allow Pac-Man to get a bunch more setups more consistently. It's not like just you have to use Galaga in order to grab it. However, a lot of people have been telling me that there's a secret nerf where Pac-Man's forward air sends at a lower angle, so you are not able to chain forward airs, and if that is true, that is really unfortunate, but I'm not exactly sure, so I'm not exactly acting on that, but if people can check that for me, I would greatly appreciate it, because I don't really know exactly where Pac-Man's fair was going to send you in the first place. I just know it comboed into itself very easily. This character obviously plays the slow game of I'm going to plant Hydrant down, I'm going to charge my fruit, and then I'm going to use a fruit, try to get a setup, oh, it didn't work, time to plant Hydrant, and do it all again. However, in this game, I feel like characters do a lot more damage, so Hydrant stays a lot less easily. And also with the importance of edge guarding in this game, I feel like Pac-Man does get edge guarded a bit easier than he did in Smash 4, although his side B did get better, like for sure. Pac-Man's grab being usable is also very nice, but again, I thought this character was like very, very bad in Smash 4, so the fact that I put this character in mid-tier is pretty nice. Like, I do think that is a pretty significant jump for this character. Still has a lot of flaws of rushdown characters being able to just kind of abuse Pac-Man if you understand where Hydrant is going to come out, then you can kind of play around that and then still hit Pac-Man for it afterwards. You can't like spam Hydrant air dodge like you could in Smash 4, so now you get your one air dodge attempt, and if you miss, you will get hit, and you will get hit off stage, and you might potentially get edge guarded. So Pac-Man, I feel like, has to stay in control the whole game, and a lot of characters in this game are very good at taking control from them, comfortable being passive while also comfortable at just running down your opponent and just being super aggressive. So I feel like Pac-Man isn't necessarily fit out for that meta. Samus, unfortunately, to me, is not a great character in this game. Not bad, but not great. Still does fairly decent in certain matchups that I will probably use her for, such as Ness and maybe Snake if I'm not feeling the Pikachu at certain moments, but this character still struggles with a lot of the things that she did in the other games, which is the fact that it is very easy to juggle her. Her combo game is good, but only pretty much at low percents. Yes, she is powerful, but she doesn't have any kill confirmed. She pretty much has to just raw hit you with a charge shot or a neutral air or an up B at a shield like on top platform of something. Like, this character doesn't have a lot of good things going for her, is fairly slow, doesn't have the fastest hitboxes unless you want to use your laggy forward tilt and down tilt. Her jab still doesn't work, which would be a great boxing tool if she could, you know, actually use it. And unfortunately, if you ever get hit out of your double jump, this character is a sitting duck both above you and off stage with a lot of top tier characters. So again, a character that loses to almost every single character in top tier, not going to be the best meta character. Yes, she has a bunch of combos that do a bunch of percent at 0, and yes, she can wall some characters out with Zair, forward tilt, charge shot, missiles, you know, can edge guard with bomb, because thank God they made it explode on contact, but unfortunately, I feel like it is not enough to kind of get around other character strengths, so unfortunately, I'm going to put her smack dab in the middle of mid tier. Ice Climbers are probably the character to me that will go up as the meta is developed, because this character has so many crazy desyncs and crazy combos and grab confirms and just so many cool things about this character, but right now, I do think this character is a little bit in a scary place. Even with the AI buff, Nana still SDs a couple times or just randomly does things that you don't want. This character struggles with camping, and if a character can stay on top of you, this character doesn't have great add a shield options. Like, I've been trying to play Ice Climbers more and more, and I'm starting to see more flaws in Ice Climbers the longer I play them, as well as obviously more strengths, but it becomes a very polarized thing where they do amazing in certain matchups and then terrible in other matchups. Like, oh my god, I played against MVD Snake. If Nana gets stuck, I just die. Like, that just is tragic. You know, ice blocks are fairly good in terms of kind of just hitting your opponent or like kind of making you get free approaches, but it's not as good as, let's say, a Thunder Jolt, and people can smack them back and then actually stop the Ice Climbers from moving forward. They rely a lot on their grabs, and not necessarily from like crazy 0 to deaths, but also like down throw, short hop, up air, full hop, up air, double jump, up air, as Ice Climbers does like 60 or something percent, which is like absolutely ridiculous. Unfortunately, when you do up B as Ice Climbers, when Nana grabs the ledge, Popo is still hanging there, and so if you throw out a hitbox around that, Popo will actually get hit before he grabs the ledge, and that is something people aren't really abusing enough. But so Ice Climbers, because of that fact, are fairly easy to edge guard. They have to Squall, but Squall, their side B, doesn't really go up that high, so it's pretty unfortunate. Again, this character will be live or die by the grab and their desyncs, and I personally don't know enough like in neutral desync setups to see like how good they are, because I pretty much only get them off of grab. I have seen some crazy Japanese videos on YouTube, because there's one Japanese Ice Climbers that just kind of swags out on people on quick play, it seems like, and that seems ridiculous. But either way, this character, I feel like very, very difficult to play. Obviously, there's so many things to remember, and you know, having a difficult character does not necessarily mean you are a good character, especially when sometimes characters can just kind of throw neutral air out at you and then kill Nana, and now you are a significantly neutered character. Also, it honestly seems fairly difficult to kill with this character. You pretty much have to land a smash attack or a back air or like an up air like way up there, but forward smash is like smaller, down smash is so weird in this game, and up smash like isn't that good of an anti-air because it doesn't hit particularly far forward. So I don't know, this character, I feel like there's a few gaps in hitboxes, like why is forward smash so small? Oh my god, I'm so sad that that move is worse than it used to be. Jigglypuff still has a lot of good things going for them. I still think this character's aerial game is obviously amazing. Their edge guarding, which is a very important thing in this game, is one of the best in the game. Really good disadvantage due to the fact that she has really good air mobility and can just pretty much always go to the ledge, but unfortunately I feel like as the sword meta is kind of progressing, or as like people's, you know, juggle games are getting refined, Jigglypuff is finding it harder and harder to kind of play that game against a lot of people. If they just dash back and Jigglypuff commits to a forward air, now Jigglypuff gets hit, and yes, Jigglypuff's back air did get buffed, and I feel like that is a fairly big deal. However, it kind of just falls into the same spot of forward air unless Jigglypuff is in advantage and trying to use back air to kill. So yes, you get that, but also like weak forward air Nair was still really good in the first place, so I don't exactly know how useful back air is. You might still want to be forward facing against a lot of situations. Being really light sucks because now, again, characters punish games are getting more refined and people are doing a lot more damage than they were a couple months ago. So this character now, it's like, oh, I have like 2 neutral interactions that I can lose until I die, you know, given like, oh, 1 0 to 35 half combo and then one hit into like a 30% or 40% juggle. Now I'm at death percent because I'm Jigglypuff. That's not exactly good, and yes, Jigglypuff can kill very early, either with edge guarding or with dash attack, or down tilt sends you like really an awkward angle, and down smash is quite strong, or the obvious rest combos, but I feel like those are harder to hit given the fact that people are playing a little bit more passively when they have to, like a little bit more dash back in, and that is not conducive of a good Jigglypuff playstyle. Lucario's Aura Sphere charging got nerfed from the previous patch, which in my opinion is a pretty big deal. And yes, I saw a bunch of comments saying that what I did was not quite exactly what the nerf was, but either way, not being able to have access to like B-Reverse on the ground into Aura Sphere, into like back air is a pretty big deal. But overall, I feel like this character in general, after playing it, after seeing him more, was just nerfed overall from Smash 4. Yes, his aura is still good, but it is less ridiculous than it used to be. Yes, his normals are still better, I guess, than they were in Smash 4 when he's at 0%, but that doesn't make them good. His game plan overall is just a lot less scary due to the fact that Aura Sphere is less scary. Side B, when you whiff, is way less big, so he doesn't just have a crazy projectile from super far off stage. He's not going to kill you at 30. Up throw doesn't 50-50 into kill confirms when you're at 30 if you have max aura now, so even though it's still good, it's not quite like, oh my god, I got grabbed, I might die, I have to panic, I have to guess right. Like, that isn't really in the game anymore, at least according to 2, so if I'm wrong about that, get mad at him because that is what he told me while I was in Japan. Like, Downer is decent for stalling, and he can obviously B-Reverse his Aura Sphere in order to get down, but I feel like that's not enough. Obviously, yes, he does like to get hit, but also a lot of characters in this game are killing earlier than they did in Smash 4. It's not just Bayo or Cloud or Zero that now kills early. Like, most of the meta kills early because you have Peach, you have Yoshi, you have Pikachu, you have Fox, you have Wolf. All those characters have consistent kill confirms between like 100 and 120, or even earlier for a lot of characters. So it's hard for Lucario to ever get max aura in the first place, where it was much easier in Smash 4. Pit is a character I feel like that is always destined for mediocrity because yes, this character has a decent neutral, good dash grab, good dash attack, decent aerials, but nothing incredibly good about this character other than like arrows maybe. You know, I know Dark Pit's arrows have more hits on, so you actually get better combos, but I would favor Pit in most situations due to the fact that side B is more consistent of a kill move because it is a vertical kill move, so you don't have to worry about stage position for that, and also you can use arrows to edgeguard, which in my opinion is a pretty big deal and actually can hit a decent amount of characters that have mediocre recoveries. But I don't know, like I see this character and the damage output is good, not great. This character's neutral is good, not great. This character's disadvantage is good, not great. And I feel like being good, not great in everything is honestly worse than being excellent in some areas and then kind of mediocre in other areas. I don't know, this character just underwhelming always, and I feel really bad about that because Pit, honestly, very, very cool of a character. I feel like there's a lot of interesting options that this character could have, but unfortunately it's just kind of like, oh, you're above me, up air. Oh, you're in front of me, forward air. Oh, you're behind me, back air. Oh, you're far from me, arrow. And like, that's just kind of what this character becomes. So yeah, I don't know. Lucas is a character that I probably was the most unsure of placing in my tier list because he has a lot of good things going for him, but obviously a couple nerfs from Smash 4, mainly being the fact that his grab does not combo anymore, so you don't have down throw crazy infinites, and also PK Fire is a little bit laggier. However, with the shield mechanics changing, the fact that you can't just run up and power shield PK Fire, I do feel like that nerf is not quite the biggest deal, still is a deal like at all, but he has a lot of buffs going for him, namely the fact that most of his aerials are better, the fact that he has the double jump cancel Zaire thing, which can kind of combo down air combos into itself forever. You have PK Freeze, which sends you into another dimension horizontally for some reason and can 2-frame. The only place I feel like this character struggles is when you get a hit onto Lucas. I feel like he doesn't have very good landing hitboxes, similar to, let's say, a heavy character, but not quite that extreme. His combos are pretty interesting because you do have down air combo into itself, you have double jump Zaire lead into itself, you know, forward air is pretty good. Neutral air actually got nerfed in my opinion slightly because neutral air always used to send forward and now it can send you on both sides, so it's a little bit more ambiguous. However, I guess the move functions now because you could easily SDI out of Lucas's neutral air in Smash 4, so I guess he gained functionality for being a little bit more difficult, and I'm sure the good Lucas players will be able to confirm regardless of which side the neutral air sends on. He still has 3 kill throws and forward throw, back throw, and up throw, so he can use pretty much anything regardless of the situation. But I don't know, it seems like he's lacking something that's absolutely fantastic because, you know, the down air combos only start at like 60 or so percent. He doesn't have like crazy overwhelming options. It's not like his neutral is fantastic like a lot of the characters above him. So I don't know, he's just kind of in this awkward middle ground, like doesn't have anything crazy overwhelming, but also doesn't have anything kind of terrible because his air mobility is very good. So the disadvantage state, while bad, and you know, he doesn't have a good hitbox and it's not like he gets out of it for free, is still better than a decent amount of characters. So I don't know, kind of just in an awkward state. I could definitely see this character going up as the meta develops. Mii Swordsman has a lot of cool setups, and 2 of his special moves are incredibly good. However, this character, as I mentioned a few times, doesn't have a good get off me option in the air. If he is getting pressured, he can kind of just crumble under that pressure. Pretty much only has like up B at a shield if you're using Hero Spin, and that's kind of it. I think universally everyone uses Tornado, and that move is so good for hit confirms. It looks honestly like Smash 4 knockback, where you kind of just fly slowly in the air as opposed to the balloon-esque knockback that everyone kind of has now in Ultimate. Because of that, you can get Tornado into up air or Tornado into up B if you're near the ledge, and then it kind of like drags you out if you use Hero Spin, which I think is the correct up B to use. You can get some really early confirms off of that. Also, if you use Chakram side B, like I think that's the little like weird like circle shuriken thing, then you get a lot of damage off of that if you get like a neutral get up read, because you can do slow shuriken, or it's just a good projectile in general considering you can angle it like a Link boomerang, but it is incredibly fast. Honestly, the one thing keeping this character from being absolutely fantastic is the fact that he is slow. He is not a fast swordsman. I think he is slower on the ground than Ike, or at least feels like it from when I'm playing, because he doesn't have those like giant sword aerials, and he doesn't have a broken neutral air like Ike does. This character's down tilt is amazing, up air, forward air, back air, but a lot of this character's moves are really good, even has a decent forward tilt and up tilt. However, the grab outside of down throw up air at low percents is fairly lackluster, and also, again, this character, other than Tornado, doesn't have a lot of kill confirms. It's gonna kind of have to back air in neutral, or forward smash in neutral, or, you know, obviously fish for Tornado, and that's not exactly a bad thing because Tornado is an amazing move that is also like this big for some reason, so not really gonna struggle to kill, but if you are prepared for Tornado or have something like a Shine or a Reflector, this character now loses a lot of the utility and a lot of the combos that this character has access to normally. Bowser is a big, super armor heavy boy, and honestly, I have not seen enough of Bowser to necessarily accurately place him, because I do see a lot of Bowser saying he's high tier, but also people's general, like, the number of characters in each tier is very varied, so I do not know exactly what number the character they put their character, so I don't know if mine is accurate or not, but anyway, I digress. Bowser has one of the most interesting mechanics, which is kind of like passive light armor, so a lot of characters cannot hit him with like jabs or like any jabs or rapid jabs. Bowser will just tank through it, so you honestly can't jab block Bowser a lot. You can't like as Pikachu, for example, I can't like forward air and then jab him. That is actually very annoying because I lose access to moves, so he does cut off the ability to have a bunch of characters have moves. Also, he is way better on the ledge now than he used to be, because you used to be able to react to Bowser getting off the ledge and hit him pretty much with any fast aerial, so it used to be very difficult for Bowser to get off the edge, but now the fact that his side B is universally frame 6, you know, he has a frame 6 air command grab, so you really can't react to that off of the ledge. He does lose the ability to cancel his side B with landing, like, you know, he reduces all the lag by landing on the ground, or at least did, so now he doesn't have ability to that, so side B is a bit more of a hard commitment than he used to be, but I feel like getting the ability to get off of the ledge easier is definitely worth the trade. Bowser is just strong. He does so much damage with like up throw nair, just forward air in general is an amazing tool. For some reason they buffed jab, which now does like 18 or something like that. Forward tilt, which can 2-frame people, is now stronger, and down smash, why did they make that move stronger? It was already so strong and had armor attached to it, so don't really know why they buffed that move, but Bowser mains for sure will take it. He does have the same flaws of most heavy characters though. He gets hit and takes a bunch of damage. He gets juggled and gets juggled for forever, and yes, he has down B and down air, but those moves are fairly predictable, fairly slow, so unless you're committing super high up to try to hit Bowser, which you should never do, you should always stay somewhat close to the ground, Bowser will have a very tough time getting down. Even with that though, he still only has to win a neutral exchange or two due to the fact that up throw nair, or like landing fair, god forbid, landing fair up throw nair does like 55, and this character kills so early. Does have some shield break setups or like scary ambiguous situations where they put you on shield and you don't want to get hit by the down B, so you try to shield it, it breaks your shield, and then you can just die at any percent due to the fact that Flame Breath for some reason still does like way more damage than it should, and also you can have the tipper hitbox. Also, just Flame Breath in general, amazing move for edge trapping or edge guarding, because it will 2-frame pretty much every single character in the game and give Bowser a free 20%. So if they ever get like a fair up throw into fair, get you off stage, or you don't want to be above Bowser because his juggling is actually fairly decent, and you go low, you'll take 20% more from Fire Breath or Flame Breath or whatever it's called. So that's kind of scary, but again, you can still abuse Bowser off stage because his recovery isn't the greatest, and also just in juggles because he's a heavy character and like every character struggles with the same thing. Mii Gunner is a character I used to think was a bit better, you know, the low of high tier now going to kind of descend into the top of mid tier. Only like 6 or 7 spots realistically went down, but in my opinion, this character is a little bit too slow in order to perform correctly. you have to rely on things like forward air in order to get you out of situations, and I feel like having to rely on a normal to get you out, having to rely on a short hop to get you out, like an instant reverse forward air, for example, would be really good at getting out. But, you know, this character, like the forward air, doesn't have enough range to really hit a lot of the short characters that, again, are becoming more prevalent in the meta. Still has a bunch of good tools, up air kills, forward smash kills. I love the bomb down B. You have ability to use shine if you really want the reflector in other zoner matchups. But I do find this character struggles in disadvantage. The fact that you can hit back her bomb is honestly a pretty big deal, because people have started doing that to me a lot because they know they don't have to be scared of it. That's a pretty big deal. This character doesn't really have a fast get off me option other than I'm going to try to double jump away in forward air and go to the ledge. Like, not great fast aerials except for unless you're going to use one of the up Bs that like spikes you. But again, that's a pretty hard read, and even at low percent, if you get hit by the spike, you can just be like, okay, I got hit onto the ground, time to continue juggling you, and you will end up getting more damage on Mii Gunner than vice versa. She still has a lot of strength because you do have the ability to zone bigger characters out or slower characters out. You still do have like 50-50s with like up throw, up air. An amazing ledge trapping with the arc fire side B into like charge shot or into down smash or into forward smash. This character can cover a lot of options, but unfortunately I feel like kind of hard to get her game going, and so that is why I will put her in mid tier. Ridley has a lot of good things going for him. Honestly, has one of the best projectiles in the game in terms of his neutral B. Side B is an amazing command grab that I feel like puts you in advantage regardless of if you mash out or not. He has one of the best nairs in the game, is pretty fast, has pretty decent normals, especially in terms of down tilt, forward tilt, neutral air, back air, forward air. Just a lot of his moves are good. However, some of his moves are absolutely unusable. There is almost no reason to ever use his down B. There's almost no reason to ever use his down air. There's no reason to pretty much ever use things like up throw. Like, this character unfortunately has a few moves that you don't want to use, and also has a pretty mediocre advantage state, and oh god, his recovery is one of the most abusable in the entire game due to the fact that he charges up, and unfortunately, unlike Fire Falco or whatever, Firebird and Firefox, you know, he doesn't have a hitbox when he's charging his up B, so almost every character can pretty much go out there and mess with it due to the fact that Ridley has so few angles he can do. He either has to up B from like where the ledge is or under the ledge, and no in between, and that is really, really bad for him. I remember watching the grand finals of Valhalla where it was the Ridley versus Gluttony, and Gluttony was just able to edgeguard him with like forward airs for free just because the character has so few options when it comes to recovery. So honestly, and also not even an actual heavy character, like slightly heavy, but isn't like a big heavy like King Dedede or Bowser or Donkey Kong. So he doesn't get the advantage of like, oh, well, it's okay that I get hit because I'm gonna live forever. Like, no, he gets hit because he's huge, and then he takes a bunch of damage, and then he doesn't even die late. So you're losing a huge percentage of your stock when you get hit. You don't even need that much damage to kill him because of the aforementioned edge guarding, so this character just has to really work really, really hard, and honestly doesn't have a lot of combos, kind of just keeps you in disadvantage sometimes. But again, the hitboxes are fairly like, they're pointed in either like up or behind him, other than neutral air, which is a circle. But how many times can someone just get hit by neutral air? The answer is a lot, but honestly, I feel like one move that is incredibly, incredibly good does not a character make. And that's really sad because I love Ridley and I want to be able to play him, and I still play him sometimes in friendlies, but you know, I feel the flaws of this character really heavily, especially considering most of the characters I play are very good. You know what, for this video, I'm going to do this for you all. King Dedede is a character that has decent options, has a much better neutral that he used to because he can run in forward tilt, has just access to his tilts out of run and his jab out of run. In general, his jab and his forward tilt probably being the two best of those. Has a fairly fast and powerful back air, has up air that can juggle, has a good neutral air, good recovery, and good edge guarding tools. However, this character's disadvantage, in my opinion, is still lackluster. The fact that he is a somewhat fast faller that is also heavy means that he gets comboed from zero to stake, and shoutouts if you get that reference. Pretty much all the time, he just gets hit so hard, he takes so much damage, so it doesn't even matter that he's heavy because one combo is still going to do either a third or half of his life if you are like a pretty decent character that can deal in like 0 to 60, 0 to 70. Honestly, this character was probably the bottom of high tier, but after getting Gordo nerfed, there's just a lot of times where now you will have Gordo get hit back, and that is a big deal. You have the inability to just kind of throw out Gordo anytime, although you still can like obviously inhale it and spit it back, which is a pretty good thing. And unfortunately, a big thing is this character is very slow both on the ground and in the air, so a lot of the game he will get outpaced. King Dedede not really able to bring it back unless you kind of rely on rage or people getting hit by a back air really early. And yes, Gordo does stick to the ledge more frequently, but unfortunately that is more so out of like, it's more so used for defense than offense at the current moment. Like, I do put pretty much every single heavy character in this tier, so it's not like he's significantly worse than the other heavies or even potentially worse at all than the other heavies. So just, I don't know, just generally heavies heavies in this game, fairly lackluster in my opinion, as people have kind of refined their advantage states, which honestly, even 2 months into the game, people are doing an incredible job against that. You know, their juggles are getting better, people are covering air dodges, both of them way better. So this character just kind of struggles and is kind of falling out of the meta a little bit. Plus that Gordo nerf is actually a lot bigger of a deal than I thought after seeing the old hitboxes, because wow, those were ridiculous. And now we're into high tier, where these characters are all very much so big threats in this game, and they're just pretty scary in general. And something to note, as I do put high tier in order, I do 100% think this is the order of high tier, like not really plus or one or minus one, I do think this is the order exactly. Donkey Kong has some big boy hitboxes. In my opinion, Donkey Kong is the best like standard heavy. There are better heavy characters that I put higher than this, but as a standard heavy character, I do think DK is the best because he has the best tools in neutral. I think his down tilt is amazing. I think his back air is one of the best aerials in the entire game, like deadass. The only problems with DK are just general heavy character things where like, oh, it's kind of hard for him to land, but also he has super armor on his side B for like the entirety of it, so you have to be very careful how you're juggling him, and also the fact that his recovery is very exploitable, because as you may have seen on Twitter, hashtag buff aerial spinning Kong, because he has no invincibility and his arms when he's flying or when he's like spinning are all hurt boxes, like it's not disjointed at all, so it's very easy to mess with. However, I do think this character gets a ridiculous amount of damage from like down tilt trip into grab, cargo throw, up throw, forward throw, like or up throw, forward air. It is so ridiculous how much damage this character does. He still has punch, which is incredibly scary. He has like 2 spikes now. He has a grounding move that can kill you if you like try to mess with it and you get hit by the super armor. This character just, oh, it's so much. Like this character just does so much damage, has a lot of tools, is very scary on offense, not the scariest on defense, but that is why I put him at like low high tier and not like the top of high tier. I do think he has still a few weaknesses, but I do feel like he is a bit ahead of the pack compared to the other heavies. I know a lot of Bowser players don't think that, but I mean, I'm not a Bowser player, I'm a Pikachu main. Chrom got one of the biggest nerfs in 2.0, which is the fact that Chromakaze now kills him first, so he does not have access to it on last stock scenarios, which in my opinion is huge. Chrom, a very inconsistent character due to the fact that his recovery is so exploitable. Like people are like, oh, his hitboxes are consistent, so he's more consistent than Roy while having a significantly worse recovery, and you can just die at almost any percent. Like his options are still very good. His neutral is still very strong with forward air, neutral air, jab, you know, jab being a kill confirm into instant reverse back airs, or just like up air, or so many things like combo tool. This character has a lot of ridiculous things. However, his damage output is actually slightly lower than you would expect, to be honest. Like I always expect after Chrom combos to be at way more damage than I am, like 15% or less than I expect is what I actually have. So that's kind of problematic. However, he is very consistent at killing with forward tilt, jab, back air. God forbid he gets like landing near F smash, but at the same time, this character can still die at 20, so I cannot justify him putting higher than the bottom of high tier. Still a good character, a lot of good options, but kind of struggles and is still inconsistent. Toon Link, in my opinion, is pretty slept on as a character. I do think he has a lot of the good things going for him in Smash 4. His recovery is actually a bit better due to the fact that tether recoveries, I feel like, can tether from much farther in this game for some reason. I don't exactly know why. His forward tilt got a buff. His normals in general just seem either the same or better. His back air is much better and combos into itself. I saw a lot of Toon Links complaining, like, oh my god, if it was active like 1 frame earlier, like it kind of shows in the animation, it would be like broken, but like it's still much better than it was in Smash 4. Like it's not quite Brawl levels, but it's very good and can combo into itself and then into an up B for very early kills. He can still camp you with bombs and boomerangs and can get confirms off of both of them into forwarder, so he's pretty consistent at killing. However, I do feel like the floaty nature of him leads him to getting juggled a decent amount, assuming that you don't have bombs already that you can throw down. But a lot of the times, if you want to pluck a bomb, you have to waste your double jump, and then if you get hit off stage during your double jump, you're going to have a hard time getting back to the stage. So Toon Link, I feel like, is just like a slightly improved version of his Smash 4 self, who in my opinion was a very good character, so I think this character is like easily high tier. Marth is when you first start getting to the good sword characters in this game. He has really nice speed, he's pretty good at edge guarding, he's just has a lot of damage output, a decent amount of combos, always I feel like is in control other than in disadvantage, which is somewhat lackluster compared to the characters above Marth. But in my opinion, the reason I know there's a huge gap between Lucina and Marth, but I feel like that consistency for Lucina is so important, and honestly in this game, it doesn't feel like tippers add that much strength other than like forward smash and shield breaker specifically. Like Lucina's back air will kill you at 110 at the legend. Marth's tipper back air will kill you at like 95, but that 15% gap that you have there will probably be, oh, I messed up those tippers in my combos and did 15 or 20 or 30 less percent. So even his best things still kind of feel like they're not as necessary, considered Lucina is so much more consistent and so much just like better in general, just because of that consistency, and like Dancing Blade doing more damage, and just everything just kind of works better for Lucina. Marth does have crazy peaks, but but again, I value consistency incredibly heavily, so I cannot justify putting Marth really higher than this, considering Marth and Lucina still have flaws, but Lucina's strengths are so ridiculous, and Marth's strengths aren't as prevalent because of the fact that you might just not get Tipper and lose all of those advantageous situations. Link is a trap-based character that can kill you incredibly early, both with his traps and also just his kill potential in general is really, really scary. Bomb is one of the best moves in the entire game due to the fact that if it's bouncing even a little bit, if it's moving even a tiny little bit, it has a hitbox, and that hitbox can confirm into the explosion if the Link is up to it. The only big problems that I see with Link are the fact that his disadvantage isn't the greatest, but at the same time, if you have a bomb somewhere around the vicinity of where you're trying to, or like where your opponent is trying to be to hit you, they can no longer be in that area, because if you just blow up bomb, then they will be able to hit you. So it's really annoying. But the other big problem is the fact that the opponent can pick up bomb and then alter where it is and throw it at the same time, like throw it away and be like, okay, now you can't use it, and Link can't detonate it while it is in the opponent's hand. However, I feel like that honestly isn't that big of a deal, because you can just kind of like hit your opponent a single time and then dash back and then pluck bomb, or like jump, throw boomerang down, pick up bomb because they have to deal with boomerang, do it again. Like, that's not honestly a big deal except for very specific matchups, very specific characters. So this character honestly has a lot of traps, not crazy combos necessarily, because you kind of have just like maybe like back air into boomerang into up air, or like back air into like the bomb is bouncing and then you hit the bomb and then you can like forwarder them or something. But this character, honestly, no ridiculous combos. You're not going to be taking a lot of damage, so I feel like some characters that do like 0 to 60, 0 to 70, 0 to 50 are going to kind of out damage and outclass Link in that regard. But also, it's really hard to hit him, so like I know a lot of people are putting Link really high on their tier list, and while I don't put him that high, I definitely can understand why. I just value, you know, the ability to like get in, because obviously I'm the aggressive player, so I see that in like my perspective, if that makes sense. So I definitely think Link an amazing character, really good. Salem's crazy with that character, and it is so much fun to watch this character. One of the most fun characters in the whole game. Bomb, again, one of the best options. So this character has a lot of stuff going for him. Also, like forward tilt, up B, like reversing when you're recovering, randomly scoops people from like on stage, so you have to watch out for that. This character just is kind of nuts, but again, I feel like his disadvantage can be abused if bomb isn't already out, and also you can still edgeguard this character due to the fact that he doesn't have tether, but you do have to be careful because his up B is kind of huge. Ness busted. Ness has crazy options. His combos are actually ridiculous. Magnet having a hitbox is so good for his disadvantage. It makes him so much harder to juggle than it used to be. Even with his ridiculous air dodge and Smash 4, it is still in this game harder to juggle Ness, in my opinion, due to Magnet. And if you ever mess up and you get hit by the Magnet, you get Magnet nared. This character is so hard to pin down. He's so slippery. He does so much damage with each of his hits. His anti-airs or his air-to-airs are amazing. Like, as if you are a character that wants to jump, he can just jump in nair, and it does like 14 or 15%. His up air is amazing, still kills almost as early as his Smash 4 variant did. He gets up air dragged down into grab, up air dragged down into forward tilt or jab. This character just has so many tools. Austin has been destroying everyone in Texas. He hasn't traveled yet, but I think Austin might be like a top 20 or 25 player in this game. He is absolutely ridiculous. Down smash and up smash being held at the ledge is amazing. He still has like one of the best kill throws in the game, if not the best kill throw. I've heard people like be arguing about Ness versus Incineroar due to like their angle difference, so I don't know which one's better, but at worst, second best kill throw in the entire game. His juggle game is amazing. His advantage is so strong because of PK Thunder, because of Nair, up air, Magnet. He has Magnet kill confirms. He can add a shield Magnet into double jump forward, Magnet into drag down fair, into grab, into back throw, or like forward tilt if you're at the other edge. This character has so many tools available to him. The only problem with this character is the fact that his recovery is still Ness recovery. It's still not great. It's still much better than it used to be due to the fact that he has one of the best directional air dodges in the entire game, but he is so scary. Like, if you have to edgeguard him. If you aren't a character that can edgeguard Ness, you are going to lose to Ness. If you aren't a player that is good at edgeguarding Ness, you will lose to Ness. This character is so dumb. He does struggle with a few top tier matchups, most namely Lucina and Shulk, but I think this character just overall is just nuts. He's so nuts. R.O.B, to me, feels like one of the more overrated characters in this game. I see a lot of people putting R.O.B in like top 10 sometimes, top 15 other times. I do think this character is much closer to like the 20-ish range. I feel like a lot of the things he have are fake. He still crumbles under pressure. He doesn't have a good get off me option. His main buffs obviously are the fact that down tilt is better and the fact that side B now kills at like 6%. Like, it is ridiculous how early this character can kill now. He has crazy setups into it, but at the same time, getting hit with a random Z drop gyro isn't exactly the the easiest thing. You know, his Nair is still definitely very punishable. It's slow. You can still hit him for it. Like, you can rush R.O.B down really, really easily. You can still edge guard this character. You can now see how much fuel he has, and yeah, when he's recovering and he like up airs, that can be somewhat difficult to deal with. And also remember, he can air dodge out of his up B, so if he's directly under the ledge, he can do that and then air dodge up. But if he guesses wrong, he dies, and if he guesses right, then he's still not in the best situation possible. A lot of people are now better at dealing with the gyro setups that he had in Smash 4, because those are pretty much the same, other than the one that confirms into side B. Like, pretty much all this character has is now he can kill you slightly earlier, but at the same time, he lost his consistent earlier killing in terms of beat boop. I mean, yeah, it was a 50-50, but sometimes it was a true confirm, and you can mix up their DI as the R.O.B player and then kill them for it. And now down throw is so much worse, so you don't have to be scared at 60%, except at the ledge against side B specifically. You don't have to worry like, oh my god, I'm gonna get grabbed, I'm gonna die. Like, yeah, his down tilt is better and can combo into itself across the stage sometimes. It seems like really specific percents when that kind of works. And yes, you can do down tilt into gyro into up smash, but you can do that in Smash 4, so I don't know why people are freaking out about it now. So I think this character is honestly like not quite as good as everyone thinks. I'm also like kind of biased because Pikachu has always done well in that matchup, and Samus has always done well in that matchup, and Yoshi has always done well in that matchup. And so when I play R.O.Bs in this game, it just feels like the same thing, except watch out for side B. So maybe I'm just super biased, but I don't think this character is as good as everyone thinks he is. Nair the character, I mean, Ike is a pretty strong character with some of the best tournament results in the game. However, after seeing Leo's matchup chart, and he had a lot of losing matchups, I just think it is honestly Leo just being incredibly, incredibly good with this character. He is a good character. He has a lot of good tools. Nair is obviously one of the best Nairs in the game. It confirms into everything forever. He has back air, he has down tilt, he has forward air, he has up air, was just a good move in general, especially running off of platforms. It's very good. But this character does struggle against short characters, does struggle against fast characters, and does struggle against people that can parry and understand how to parry punish. I feel like that is a huge deal that not enough top players do. Samsora was doing it, and that is one of the reasons why he beat Leo in winners at Genesis, although lost to Leo in losers. But also, like, two of the best players, you're gonna just sometimes get outplayed, even if sometimes you're doing the right thing, because Leo is arguably, I feel like actually inarguably the best player in the world. I just think Zachary's god, so I put Leo at second currently. But this character has so many tools available to him, but at the same time has a mediocre disadvantage state like most of the other sword characters. And if you hit him out of his jump or don't hit him like vertically in the air, his recovery is very exploitable because of the fact that the sword doesn't go through the stage anymore. So characters like Pikachu or anyone with a forward smash that lingers in front of them can actually just charge forward smash and then hit him as he like tries to meet his sword. That's not exactly good. And also, if you go above it, you can spike it. If your spike is any type of disjointed, it is scary to do that if you do not have one. So I would not recommend that versus characters that like Dr. Mario, that it'll be hard to spike him if you do that. I feel like his weaknesses are a bit more pronounced than the other sword characters, but his strengths are also amazing, so he kind of is in the middle of all of them. Like, definitely better than Marth, but worse than Lucina. I feel like this character just does have a lot of options, and some characters do struggle to get into just like sword in general. But again, parrying, I feel like because all of Ike's aerials are slow, is very important in this matchup, and it's something people aren't utilizing quite enough, which is why I think Ike is slightly worse, or actually a decent amount worse than a lot of people do. Greninja is being slept on in America. I feel like not enough people are talking about this character. Japan thinks this character is like easy top 10, and while I don't quite think that because I feel like he does struggle with rush down a decent amount, this character is ridiculous. He has dash attack, up air, drag down loops, which can do a bunch of damage to a lot of characters. He's still hard to edge guard. Shadow Sneak is much stronger for some reason in the air. You can get very cheesy kills with like full shuriken into Shadow Sneak off stage. His up air is just good in general. His down tilt is now better because it's faster, and so you can do that into up smash, into forward air. Dash attack, as I mentioned, is already better because it seems like it has less lag, and also up air is still just an amazing, amazing move. And yes, he lost his footstool combos, which I thought was going to be a bigger deal, but he gained just drag down up air combos in general with tech chases. Oh my god, this character can do so much damage. I'm sure most people saw the Leia 0 to death against Zaki, and yes, that may be a little bit of an outlier because Dedede is a huge character, or sorry, Dedede, because I've been pronouncing it the way you guys want me to. Dedede is a huge character, so it may not necessarily work that way against all characters, but either way, it is pretty ridiculous the fact that he can just kind of do that at like all times against a decent amount of characters. So that's really scary. His offense in this game is really scary. His defense is still lackluster, which is why I do not think he is top 10. Like, I know a lot of characters that can hit Greninja's shield and they don't have to worry about anything, so he has to be a parry type character. But a lot of aerials in this game aren't easy to parry at all unless people are doing it at a predictable timing, but that's kind of like a player thing, not necessarily a character thing. So Greninja has a lot of things going going for him when he gets his thing started, but it is not the easiest to get his thing started, especially considering, again, these now I'm starting to talk about like the best characters in the game. So Greninja, very, very strong, not quite top tier, but definitely I can imagine as he gets optimized, he could be top tier. Roy is the better version of Chrom. I do feel like this character is more consistent overall than Chrom, even though his hitboxes necessarily aren't. When he gets his close spacing, which is honestly not that difficult in this game, I feel like he gets so much damage, he gets so much safety. Like, his Nair is safe on shield against Pikachu. Like, I can't back air out of shield it, which is insane because I can do that to almost every single thing in the entire game. Roy can like fair jab or Nair jab, and it is so safe, and if you get hit, oh my god, you take so much damage. You go for a ride because it does more damage than Chrom's combos, I feel like, at least when people are getting all of their sweet spots, which isn't, again, that difficult. Also, he is one of the single best kill moves in the entire game with his side B, because it is actually stronger than limit cross slash for some reason, and also you can like confirm into it. That move is ridiculous. It kills so early. I remember it killed my Ridley when I was playing Void's Roy at like 95 or like 97 after hit on like Battlefield. That move is so dumb. Like, yeah, he had rage, but that move is just ridiculous. It's so safe, it's so big, it's so good, and that honestly, like, alone, in my opinion, puts that over Chrom. Young Link is a speedy boy that does everything you want. He camps, he can throw out hella hitboxes, he has kill confirms, he has a good recovery, he has good setups. This character is ridiculous. He just hits so many buttons. Literally, the only bad thing about this character is if you miss those arrow kill confirms or like fair drag down kill confirms, it is difficult to kill with this character. I definitely have seen Tweak have to rely on using Nair to kill people at like 170, but at the same time, this character's damage output is so high that it doesn't even matter. He deals you so much damage in his combos and then puts you in disadvantage, and he's not going to necessarily juggle you just with up airs and forward airs, but it will be with bomb, it will be with arrow, it will be with boomerang. He'll make you land in specific ways and then hit you with up air, and then hit you with forward smash, and then hit you with one of his other projectiles or arrow into up B. This character covers so many options, but again, the big thing is I feel like the kill confirms aren't consistent enough to put him into top 10, and also he's still a fairly small, stubby character, so sometimes he does get outranged by, let's say, the bigger sword characters, or he gets out comboed by, let's say, the really top tier combo characters like Pikachu and Pichu. But this character has pretty much everything you want, could definitely be a top tier character. However, I see not being able to kill with just like an easy safe thing as like a pretty big flaw, but I'm going to, you know, he's a very good character. Young Link is an amazing character, but not quite top tier. After playing Obadongo's Meta Knight, I feel like people are hardcore sleeping on this character. One of the best edge guarders in the entire game, consistent combos with dash attacks and up airs and nairs and all those type of things. A down tilt similar to R.O.B's, which I feel like no one is talking about because I didn't know about that until I played Obadongo. He can down tilt into dash, down tilt into dash, dash attack into like up air, nair, and things like that. Tornado, one of the best moves in the entire game as it lingers, it beats out projectiles and hitboxes, and is incredibly powerful. It is much, much better than, let's say, the Smash 4 variant. Not quite Brawl Tornado, because that move was like the best move in Smash Brothers history ever, but still a very, very good move. Very easy to two-frame people because it can linger there for a while, and then he can end up flying later. Meta Knight has a good disadvantage as well because of his multiple jumps and the fact that he has jump downer. It can dissuade people from trying to juggle him, so you kind of have to respect him until he gets way closer to the ground, but at the same time, multiple jumps, down B, tornado are going to make it very difficult to keep hitting Meta Knight outside of your true combos. His neutral is also fairly strong considering he can full hop downer, and it's not quite brawl level, but it's very good considering full hops are like a lot faster in this game, so it's a lot harder to hit him out of it. His forward tilt is still good, his down tilt now confirms into a lot, so it's a very good option. His dash grab is still a good dash grab, so he can get a lot of damage off of that. So I feel like this character is a lot more versatile than people give him credit for, although his combo strings are generally a little bit more linear, but linear combo strings don't really matter considering the things that will get your combos are dash attack and dash grab and down tilt, which leads into dash attack, so that's pretty strong. When Meta Knight's combos don't kill, he does struggle to kill sometimes, but again, as I mentioned, he's one of the best edge guarders, still has incredibly safe kill moves in terms of forward smash, in terms of tornado, so he doesn't really struggle to kill, and up he had a shield as well. He doesn't exactly struggle to kill as much as, let's say, a character like Young Link will, because Meta Knight can do those things kind of raw. Also, Nair is very strong, so he has a lot of kill moves available to him, but sometimes you kind of live longer than you would expect versus Meta Knight, and that's why I don't put him in like top 10 or top 15, but he's definitely getting very close. People have been saying Mewtwo is like a low tier character or like a low mid tier character, and I don't really understand why. This character's tools are amazing. Yes, he did get a couple nerfs because his Nair is worse, he cannot spam air dodge like he used to be able to in Smash 4, and his tail is way less disjointed. It's only disjointed kind of like at the tip, like more like Pikachu's, but obviously proportionally with a much bigger tail. He still has a pretty potent neutral in terms of Shadow Ball, forward air, Nair, down tilt, and just his dash is one of the fastest in the entire game. His movement is one of the best in the entire game, especially if you mix in B-reverse Shadow Ball cancels, kind of like what Samus's do with their B-reverse Charge Shot cancels. So this character, honestly, in my opinion, has a lot of tools in neutral, does a lot of damage, however, can be hit out a lot more than he used to be in Smash 4, which I feel like is kind of like, oh, he's worse than Smash 4 type of thing happening with players, but I feel like the tools this character has are still incredibly strong. SDX, an incredible player, got like 13th or 17th at Genesis, you know, has done fairly well at other tournaments. I know there are a couple Mewtwo's I've seen do like fairly well at a couple different tournaments, but this character is just, he's harder, for sure. He's not an easy character. Like Mewtwo in Smash 4 was so simple because it was charge Shadow Ball, throw Shadow Ball, down tilt, oh, you can't punish it, charge Shadow Ball, throw Shadow Ball, down tilt, dash attack. And like, that's just kind of what you did. Now you actually have to think way harder as this character. You have to work way harder in neutral and also in disadvantage, which was again a big thing because people used to just spam air dodge and get out of combos, and you can't exactly do that anymore. However, this character still has one of the most potent kill throws in the entire game with up throw and a very good back throw as well. Kills really early with forward air and can edge guard people with nair and forward air, and side B can combo into stuff. Also side B is a nerf as well, which just kind of ties into his disadvantage of being worse. But either way, I feel like this character a little bit more glass cannon than he used to be, but when he gets going, this character is amazing. So again, not exactly as consistent as he used to be, which is why he is worse for me than in Smash 4. Like I put him at like 11 or so in Smash 4, and he's more so like 17 or 18. I can't exactly count because I'm trying to doing this like off of a tier list thing, like a picture. But either way, this character is incredibly strong still. I definitely think Mewtwo is a very high tournament threat. Mario is one of the characters I was dead ass wrong about in the pre-patch or in the first tier list I made, and then even the second tier list I made. This character is actually very strong. His throw combos are still very potent. They're just a little bit different now because you have to up throw all the time at 0. He doesn't have like down throw up tilt, but at like 35 to 40%, you start getting like down throw into up air, into like nair, and just like loops and things like that. He can kill really consistently still, although he still doesn't have a lot of kill confirms. But you know, like downer is now a kill move. Up smash is still amazing. Down smash, forward smash, edge guarding in general is way better in this game. He still has the kill combos with like if you get up aired on a top platform or like down thrown on a top platform, or like it combos onto the top platform, you get like the up air, up B stuff. That still works, and that is really scary. I know I saw Teb get those combos a lot at I think it was Super Splat Bros. That character can still do so many things, and yes, he can still get walled out by certain characters like the Swordies, or maybe like if you're a really fast character that has pretty decent hitboxes like Pikachu, I think you can do fairly well against Mario. But overall, I feel like this character has such solid matchups across the board, and especially the fact that he can just explode onto you with so much damage is like really scary, and it puts him in a position where if you are a player and you guess right a single time, you will get so much damage, whereas your opponents have to keep you out multiple times in neutral over and over again in order to get the same amount of damage. So I do think Mario is a very strong character. Wario is a character that has obviously had a lot of eyes on him. He is an incredible character with so much damage, so much, like, his damage output and his combos are ridiculous. His kill potential is amazing with down tilt, dash attack, forward tilt, and obviously the big thing about Wario is his waft that can be confirmed into, that can have super armor, that can edge guard, that can punish people. That move is so ridiculous, and it is one of the best win conditions in the entire game. And Wario as a character has enough things that you can kill with, that you can get a lot of damage to get a stock or two off without even having to use waft. So the one waft that you get, it's like you're playing against Wario in a 2-stock game, but Wario has 3 stocks, and that is so ridiculous. He's able to play both passive and aggressive because his damage output is again so good, and he can pressure you really well, but also he can run away and camp to try to get 2 farts in a game, which means that 2 of your stocks might be lost to a ridiculous kill move. Like, that's ridiculous. The one thing he does struggle with is that most of Wario's moves aren't that disjointed, so you can easily trade with Wario or easily beat out Wario's aerials. Like, I beat out Tweaks landing neutral air with my back air, which isn't even disjointed, and that's kind of crazy. So Wario, you know, if you do see him hit buttons, you can hit buttons back for sure and trade or win, but again, just waft being that ever-looming factor is so scary. It's so good in terms of what it does to the players, and obviously it is an amazing option in general, because then you can't get hit by a landing nair, a landing up air, an up tilt, God forbid you whiff anything punishable and you get waft. Like, this character can do so much, and like his back air kills and his forward tilt kills, and like he's such a complete package. If he was just a little, if his range was a little bit more, he would easily be a top 10 character, but I do put him at the high end of high tier. Cloud may have fallen from 2nd place, but he has not fallen very far. This character, although inconsistent with his recovery, does get the ability to recover pretty decently once every like 10 or 15 seconds or so, especially considering I feel like it is pretty easy to get limited in this game due to the fact that there's just higher damage output in general. This character's spacing is still amazing with landing forward air, which is now better than it was in Smash 4, and landing back air, which is pretty much the same. Both can confirm into cross slash. This character can anti-air people, can air-to-air people, can juggle people fairly well with up air. So it still has a lot of options. However, it is not quite as ridiculous as it was. Up air doesn't scoop from the floor. It doesn't linger quite as long. You know, this character is a little bit more precise than it used to be. And again, you know, the inconsistency in him in Smash 4 was the fact that, like, oh, if you hit him without limit off stage, he might die. But the thing is, that was fairly difficult to do because Cloud can constantly run away and camp limit and then keep limit just specifically for recovery. But now the fact that you lose limit after 10 or 15 seconds, I still don't remember which one, the fact that you have to use your limit, or the fact that you could lose limit in general by not even using it, means that Cloud has to play a lot more aggressively, and you can't just run away and camp limit in hope that you can then keep it for 30 to 40 to 50 seconds until you get knocked off stage, in which case you have limit climb hazard. Like, that's not the case anymore. So his inconsistency grew a lot, and the fact that he can't just control tempo the same way he did in Smash 4, where he would pretty much camp limit, and then now I have limit, and now I'm going to camp back airs, and now you still have to approach me to hit me off the stage, because otherwise my stats are way better and everything is better about me, and also now I can recover and then I'm going to run away and charge limit again. Like, that's not the case anymore. So he did definitely lose a lot of that, but it's still, like, the fact that he lost all of the things and all the negatives that I said about this character, and he's still, like, top 15, like, that's insane. Palutena is another character I feel like is a bit overrated. I've seen a decent amount of pros putting her in top 5 and top 10, and while I think she is easily high tier, like a top 15 type character, I do think she has quite a few flaws that people aren't exactly understanding enough, or aren't exactly talking about enough in terms of, like, how relevant they think they are. First, I will talk about her positives, though, because obviously she has so many positives. Her Nair is one of the best moves in the game, and it combos into itself, and just like her offensive pressure and her advantage is so strong. Up air is amazing, back air, dash attack, neutral air, even explosive flame and auto radical are way better usable moves now. The fact that they can, like, corner people or put them into specific spots, or, like, people have to avoid specific areas because they know that explosive flame can come out or auto radical can hit them, means that people have to, like, play against Palutena in a very specific way in disadvantage, which makes it easier for Palutena to hit them and then put them in worse positions where they end up dying. However, one thing that I feel like people aren't talking about is the fact that her neutral is fairly lackluster when it comes to her approaching. If you play a passive game against Palutena, she really struggles to do anything other than spam explosive flame and auto reticle, which are both easily avoidable as from like halfway across the stage. So in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal when things like that happen. If you play passive and force Palutena to approach, or God forbid have the lead against Palutena, she kind of crumbles because she doesn't have a good aerial in front of her. She doesn't have a good add a shield aerial in front of her. So if you hit her shield, she can't really do anything other than try to grab or hope that you're a character that's big enough that add a shield Nair will hit. But a lot of, again, of meta relevant characters are too short for that. Mega Man, although nerfed because he cannot do pellet into Leaf Shield, still is incredibly strong because Leaf Shield itself wasn't nerfed, and I thought it was a much bigger deal than it was, but then I saw the stats of how much Yeti used pellet to Leaf Shield in proportion to his actual Leaf Shield, and it was less than 25% in most of his major matchups. This character is still ridiculous. Pellets are so strong, he can now edge trap with back air and forward air, because forward air is stronger and has like no landing lag for some reason. That move is absolutely amazing and can kill so early. He still does a lot of damage. He can punish you with Leaf Shield, put you in disadvantage, up air, up smash out of shield, fair out of shield, just Leaf Shield out of shield, which is really funny to say because Leaf Shield out of shield, but like he has so many options and it is so obnoxious to get around this character. The one negative is some characters, and this isn't even all characters, some characters can hit him through Leaf Shield when he uses it in the air, and some characters can punish Leaf Shield out of shield, and some characters can edge guard him, but that honestly isn't common enough for me to put him anywhere lower than this. He has such strong matchups across the board. You saw Yeti do so well at Genesis, and yes, again, he was nerfed since then because that wasn't 2.0, but I feel like this character overall, like Leaf Shield is so good, it's so dumb. Why is that move so good? Oh my god. And like the ability for him to just kind of, I feel like he can just always play his game, and it doesn't matter how much he's losing by, he may just deal you 100% and then kill you without you even touching him because his keep away game is like in your face. So it's really frustrating because you are like, you're in mid range and then he just keeps you out and then Leaf Shields you and then hit you, and now you're in disadvantage, and he may hit you with a back air or two or an up air, and then you're back in neutral, and then he still pellets you and then throws out a Leaf Shield at a different time, or you hit a shield and he Leaf Shields out a shield. This character's so obnoxious to get into. Definitely the top of high tier. And at the very top of high tier, the #1 high tier character, right outside of top tier, I'm going to put Pokemon Trainer. I do listen to Leffen a little bit. I do think this character is very, very good, and I don't exactly know how good he thinks he is, but Pokemon Trainer is incredibly difficult due to the fact that, again, it is 3 Pokemon, and as the meta is developing, I feel like there are more and more characters that beat 2 Pokemon and go even with a third, or even beat all 3 Pokemon that I was not expecting to happen. So I feel like this character has slightly worse matchups than I realized, but again, slightly, like, that's not a big deal. Like, I don't think Pokemon Trainer loses to any character worse than maybe like a couple 40-60s, and that honestly, like, especially considering like how Melee is or how other fighting games are, like, that's still pretty good, but unfortunately those are other top tier characters which are pretty common in the game, such as Peach. So I feel like sometimes it is very difficult for Pokemon Trainer to get through a bracket without running into a really hard matchup. The strengths of this character haven't really changed from when I've talked about them before, except maybe Squirtle's combo game is a lot better than I realized, and like he can get very consistent mid to low % damage, and then you can switch to Ivysaur and get like a down throw up B or something, and then Charizard to finish off. So there are very structured ways that you can switch, but again, that's only in matchups that Pokemon Trainer is really good in. The matchups that Pokemon Trainer struggles in, you're going to have to be playing pretty much one Pokemon the whole time, and then the opponent can really abuse that character's weaknesses, because they all do have weaknesses. They just typically complement each other, but it doesn't matter if they complement each other's weaknesses. If switching to Squirtle when you were Charizard is going to make the matchup like 10 times worse, so you don't want to do that, so you stick it out with Charizard even though he has his own flaws. And now we finally get into the top tiers, and at the bottom of top tier, I put this one ordered, but that's honestly the 2 top characters. I do not know who is better out of Yoshi and Fox. Fox has a lot of high results right now, with Light and Lailer doing incredibly well. Light more so, but this character is so good. He does so much damage if he hits you with a dash attack or an up tilt. His edge trapping is so scary between back air and forward smash, and then like reading your rolls and like Nair up smashing you. Nair up smash being one of the most consistent kill confirms in the entire game, especially considering Nair is pretty damn safe on shield for most characters. Like, it's really hard to punish that neutral air, but this character does struggle to kill a little bit more than people expect. After playing Light in money matches, and yes, I know I lost him at Genesis, I get that, I noticed how much weaker up smash was in this game compared to all the other previous Smash games. Like, this up smash doesn't really kill that early. Like, Light characters will be dying at like 110 to 115 with no rage, and that isn't that strong considering it used to kill at like 90% maybe with no rage on Light characters. Like, that is a significant difference. Yes, he does more damage than he used to in his, or like in each individual hit, but also Fox would vortex you in Smash 4 and get up air, up tilt, just replace tilt with up air, and it like replace tilt with air, and it doesn't even matter. You're gonna do so much damage with that character. And then he still had things like landing Nair up smash or landing Dare up smash. So yes, he has that now, and it's maybe more consistent than it used to be, and also his Nair is way safer on shield than it used to be, but it is still so crazy. This character like has so much damage, but it doesn't quite kill as early, which is a big deal. Back air is weaker, forward smash is weaker, down smash is weaker. All of Fox's kill moves are weaker than they were in Smash 4, which is why you see Light struggle to kill versus people like Leo sometimes. Like, it's unfortunate, but also I think it's a pretty good nerf because he's still very explosive. He still has so much damage. His combos are ridiculous. His recovery is way better because Up B's hitbox is better. The flame hitbox is better when he's kind of charging it. And also the fact that you can drift in and out of illusion is ridiculous. And he still gets the boost of things like when you get a hit out of, when you do a special out of hit stun, you kind of like rise up. And that is huge. That is so important for both Shine stalling and, you know, side B. And also Shine is like a move now, so you can edge guard more even though they got rid of Fair Footstool. This character is ridiculous, but I do not know quite if he is 10th or if he is 11th. Yoshi is nuts. This character has so much. First off, his aerial mobility makes him feel like one of the fastest characters in the entire game since he does have the highest air mobility. His down air does so much damage and is actually a pretty good landing tool if people don't have a sword to get around it. His Nair is also good as a landing tool. His back air, B reverse egg lay, B reverse just egg toss, which is his up B, B reverse. Like, this character has so many ways to land, and yes, sometimes if you get hit A or double jump, it can be really annoying to land, but also you should probably be saving your double jump if you're Yoshi, especially considering you have up B, you have air dodge, you have multiple ways to get back to the ledge or get back on stage without using your double jump, and even then your double jump still has super armor, so as long as you play safe, you should be able to land. This character's damage output is absurd. He does so much damage. Landing Nair, F tilt, up air. God forbid you ever get someone on a platform and full hop down air, up air, then that by itself does like 45. This character's damage output and this character's confirms, and this character's just everything about this character's offense is absolutely ridiculous. Also, his passive play is amazing because of the fact that he has such high aerial mobility viability. He has moves like back air and forward air that can keep you at bay, and if he hits them, he can confirm or just carry you in disadvantage, or just juggle you, and just so scary. Also, he has the bouncing egg, which is amazing, or just eggs in general are pretty hard to get around, pretty obnoxious to get around, although he can't do like low short hop eggs anymore because of egg boosting, but egg boosting much more of an advantageous thing because you can kill people so early in this game. He's amazing on platforms, he's amazing on flat ground because of his jab block setups, and just the fact that you have to now land on a Yoshi that has something like an up smash that can just hit you. This character, he does everything you want, except sometimes you die really early if you get hit out of your double jump fairly early after being too greedy for aggression, but that again, that is typically a player thing, not a matchup thing. I don't know how much this character struggles with any of the top tiers, other than I think Yoshi still does lose to Lucina for sure, because consistent sword character, right? But I think does pretty well versus Peach, both of the Chews, probably Snake. I don't know how he does versus the Spaceys, but it doesn't seem that bad. Suarez has had a huge amount of success in with this character in the Northeast. He hasn't traveled anywhere, but he is so good, so ridiculous, probably the best Yoshi in this game. Like, I don't know, I feel like people are just sleeping on Yoshi if they haven't played Suarez, or like, it sucks because there's not like a traditional thought of like top player. There's no like Nairo or Dabuz, and like I secondary Yoshi, but I don't bring him out that much because I'm very confident in Pikachu, so it's hard for me to like see exactly, like it's hard for a lot of people rather to see exactly what this character can do because there's no super top player playing him, but man, this character is nuts. Shulk is another character I feel like that people are sleeping on because a traditional top player does not play them, but this character is so good. The one flaw of this character is I feel like the best out of shield option he has is Air Slash, but that is still not particularly fast, so characters that have incredibly safe pressuring aerials will get in on Shulk fairly easily, or at the very least once they hit his shield. However, hitting his shield is very difficult because he is Big Swordman that has fairly fast moves in terms of like, if you're going to keep them away, like for the range that they are pretty fast with Nair and forward air. Obviously his arts can switch all the time, and with especially with quick dialing, like it's so good to just constantly be able to switch from everything you want pretty easily, like way faster than it could in Smash 4. And it's not like you can just kind of look at the bottom left corner like you could, or like above the character icon and see which one they are, then wait a second and now you knew, okay, they're gonna switch now, because like it's so fast now. The fact that he can live so long with shield art, the fact that he can interrupt combos with shield art, so few characters can like actually combo him while in shield art, so that is a huge asset to him. The fact that he can do that in hit stun so that kill confirms don't work is so huge. The fact that he's able to kill you so early with Smash Art, I've seen some ridiculously early kills, like Fox getting fared like from like a little bit off stage at like 35 and dying because the Shulk had max rage on Battlefield. That's insane. He does so much damage in Buster. He can be so obnoxious in speed because his short hop is lower, or jumps are generally worse, so we can just do like short hop, nair, fair, and it's so hard to deal with. Jump is an amazing art, and yes, I could see people at some point optimizing, running away when they have to, or then going in when they have to, due to the fact that all the arts have a different amount of time and a different amount of cooldown. However, right now, I feel like for the next couple months, until people really understand this character, he is just so good. He's so good. He's so versatile. Literally the only actual flaw he has is the fact that sometimes he can't get people off of him, but most people, he can just switch into shield art and then get an advantage and then hit the people and then suddenly switch back, and it's like, okay, cool, time to jump so I can kind of camp a little bit with my hitboxes and then get shield art. But he's so good. Inkling is going to be the top character outside of the tippy top 7 characters, so I put Inkling at 8 just because Inkling controls the way almost every single character has to play this game because of the way dashes work for this character. It is so good. Consistent throw combos, consistent kill options, even though they aren't particularly early, but things like forward smash on people's landings, or God forbid you get a roller at like 100, obviously they're gonna die. Up throw up air still works on a decent amount of characters. They can edge guard with back air and forward air. Their neutral B is so good. I still don't understand why Cosmos doesn't really use that move because it is so hard to punish for the majority of characters. Ink as a mechanic is so silly. The fact that you do more damage and can kill even earlier is so dumb. The fact that it's like does so much damage even at like 60% ink or 50% ink is really silly. People have to camp away from Inkling in order to get the ink off of them, but then Inkling can just pressure them in the mid-range, and then God forbid if they get a hit, they end up doing like double the damage almost. Like not exactly, but like I think it's 1.5 times the damage, but that is a ridiculous amount of damage. You're taking 17% from a forward air of Inkling or a back air of Inkling. Like that is so much damage. If they God forbid get a grab and you get like up throw double back air, that does like 40 once you have ink on you. Like that is so silly. However, I do feel like sometimes they cannot control the momentum quite strong enough versus certain characters that that are either really good at camping or really good at rushing down. Like once they get in, Inkling's disadvantage isn't exactly the greatest, but again, their recovery is good enough to the point where you can just kind of decide to go off stage, maybe get hit one more time, roller, jump, and then get up B, and it's very, very hard to edgeguard this character due to the plethora of angles they can do. Like I could definitely see this character moving down in the tier list as things kind of get optimized and people learn how to parry back air a little bit better, because that is a huge tool for Inkling in neutral that is very safe right now, but I feel like it won't necessarily always be. But right now, this character, so strong, just kind of invalidates a lot of characters that can't deal with their dashing and can't deal with their type of advantage state, or just don't want to go off stage because Inkling can edge guard. Splat bomb edge trapping is really obnoxious. Sometimes the VFX make it really difficult for you to see exactly what Inkling is doing. So this character, just, man, they're pretty nuts, but not quite as nuts as these next characters. And again, with these 7 characters, it is getting harder and harder for me to tell who is number 1 or even like ranked in these at all. It is so ambiguous for me. I have like literally 2 characters that I have a generally pretty good idea where they are, but still I am not sure. And the first character I want to talk about is Wolf. Wolf, for me, I didn't quite understand how good this character was because I played, or when I was watching Zachary, I'm just like, okay, he's just like beating these players. I don't really understand what makes this character so good because I played Wolves at Glitch and I was like, okay, like the character is like pretty good, but nothing crazy. Like easy high tier, sure, but like nothing crazy. And then I played Zachary and I kept watching him play against amazing players like Light, like me, like K9, and he was just demolishing people with this character. The safety of his moves, the damage of his moves, the kill confirms that this character has, the 2-framing that this character has with forward tilt and down smash. I didn't realize forward tilt 2-framed for free on like every single character in the game that's not Inkling. He does so much damage, it's actually pretty hard to edgeguard him. You have to hit him out pretty low out of his double jump in order to actually kill this character because it's so scary to mess with side B because it can just like spike you and kill you, and that's pretty obnoxious. His up B is huge for no reason, and so if you don't hit it at the startup of it, it will actually hit you backwards off stage and kill you at like 75. This character also has like one of the best projectiles in the entire game with Blaster, and it has a body hitbox, and it has the really good laser that's really thick and does like 10%, so that's really good. This character has so many tools available in neutral, in advantage, in disadvantage, has a reflector, so even projectile characters, like he's going to outcamp almost every single projectile character. He's just nuts. The one thing he can struggle with is small characters for sure, because then he has to do predictable landing aerials and then get parried, but honestly the only characters that can really abuse that are like Pikachu and Pichu, which in my opinion are 2 of his bad matchups. But either way, this character he just does what he wants almost all the time, and he has the tools to guess right in every scenario. It's like Smash 4 Sheik, where he just has options in every single situation except for a very small amount, and but he can pretty much avoid those almost at all costs except in very specific matchups, and is just able to constantly make the right decision and has the tools to constantly make the right decision with a bunch of different options. So this character, so nuts, easily a top 7 character. Pichu, I already thought was an amazing character, and then Void showed me new stuff at Genesis, like, oh my god, getting second with almost all Pichu, only having to go Wolf in a single set in arguably Pichu's worst matchup, like, that makes sense. I still do think Pikachu is better by a little bit just because Pikachu's matchups overall, like, I feel like Pikachu's worst matchups are better than Pichu's worst matchups, but Pichu as a character standalone, especially even as a secondary, or if you have strong secondaries for those bad matchups, can shine through so strong. His damage output is ridiculous, his combos are ridiculous, his edge guarding is ridiculous, he kills you so early with so many things. Forward smash hits above him for no reason. I didn't know that, which is why I got hit by it against Void. He has back air, he has forward tilt, he has up throw thunder, he has up throw short hop thunder, which works at earlier percents than I realized, because I thought, okay, short up throw thunder only works at like 150 plus, but turns out it can work at like 130, which is a huge deal because you suddenly just get out of forward tilt range like just a little bit, or like you just get into forward tilt range and get hit like 1 or 2 times from not forward tilt, and then suddenly you can get up throw thundered. That is so good. This character is so good. Thunder hitting forward is so good. He's nuts. He's just nuts. I guess I'll just talk about Pikachu here. Pikachu's nuts. Go watch my other videos about him if you want a super detailed explanation, but this character is so consistent. The damage output is ridiculous. Killing is fairly easy for this character. Dash attack for some reason is one of the best moves in the entire game. Back air sending backwards all the time means that Pikachu's edge guarding is ridiculous. Probably the single best edge guarder in the entire game. He's just so good. Quick attack is amazing. All the stages are good for him. He has platform combos. He has flatland combos. This character just does anything he wants pretty much at all times. Literally the only negative is Olimar Olimar, that character's stupid and I hate him and he's dumb. But otherwise, Pikachu is just really good, has very few bad matchups, mostly even or advantaged matchups. So if you are a player that is equal to these other characters, or rather is equal to these other players, you will be able to win. Pikachu has all the tools to win at all times. He can come back in games, he can have huge leads, he can play campy, he can play aggressive. He is such a varied type of playstyle that you can play hit and run, or aggressive, or super campy, or just blatant runaway. Like, he's so good, he's so versatile. I love this character so much. Snake is also a ridiculous character, has such a good camp game because grenades are probably the best single projectile in the entire game, either that or Pikmin. This character's kill potential is amazing with grenades, C4, Nikita, up tilt, forward throw, back throw, down throw, up tilt, which works at 160, even like Nair, up air. Like, this character can just kill so early, racks up so much damage, is constantly able to come back, because if you just make the right defensive reads as a Snake player, you can just win. You can just straight up just beat people, and over again. Like, MVD made like a 160% comeback versus DeBuzz, ended up losing because of bad DI, but the fact that he was able to do something against such a top player as DeBuzz in a matchup like that, that's really obnoxious, and that Pikmin can, or rather Olimar can, like, outcamp Snake sometimes. Like, he was able to make such a ridiculous comeback with just grenades and smart placement and really good defensive play. This character can always win. This character can always win. Yes, his disadvantage isn't the greatest, but I feel like people hyper exaggerate that. It's really not that bad because you have B-reverse grenades, and it's really hard to hit Snake and not hit his grenade for almost every character in the entire game. You have to be so incredibly precise, but if you're working on that incredibly precise spacing and they don't do the B-reverse you want, or they don't do the wave bounce that you want, you will end up missing your chance, and then, or if you try to go for it afterwards, hit grenade, in which case then you get hit by an up air or a back air by Snake. Like, that's not good. It's so hard to combo Snake because grenade is frame 1, so a lot of combos don't actually work on Snake because a lot of combos are actually like 1 or 2 frames not tight, which is pretty annoying from my perspective, but it happens a lot. Like, Snake will get out of combos, Snake will get out of edge guarding situations kind of for free because of grenade. He has C4 explosions if he really has to. There's no reason almost ever for Snake to recover low. Snake should always recover high. Recovering low will get you spiked, or will get you spiked out of, you know, your air dodge, or hit out of your air dodge and then spiked, or just taking a lot of damage. Just recover high and land. You'll eventually hit people with grenade, especially if you can, like, drop a C4 or drop a Nikita. Also, Nikita's the best move in the entire game. It edge guards people better than like 99% of characters. Like, Nikita is almost better at edge guarding than Pikachu is as a whole. Like, that's insane. That move is so good, but ESAM just hit it. Well, if you could do that, then you can also just release, you can press R, release the Nikita, and then the hitbox comes back and hits it again. That is so good. It's so underutilized by every Snake that's not MVD. This character's just nuts. This character has a few bad matchups in my opinion, like Palutena. I think Mega Man can be fairly obnoxious, but also, again, as I mentioned, he can come back from almost any situation. His crouch is so versatile in so many matchups that make characters like Wolf really hard. Like, it's so hard for Wolf to hit him, for example, because his crouch, and then he can crouch into up tilt, so you have to, like, he pretty much can play as a small character and then have his ridiculously pretty big hitbox. Well, it's not like super ridiculous, but his pretty good hitboxes to then counter outwards. He has a great out of shield option in terms of down air that can lead into jab blocks or just tech chase situations. His dash attack has invincibility. This character's nuts. As I've mentioned before, and as people saw at Genesis, Lucina is one of the most consistent and one of the strongest characters in the entire game. She almost has no flaw. Literally, her only flaw is some characters can abuse her disadvantage state fairly heavily, but those are fairly few and far between, and she can almost always do it better against those characters. She can almost always kill better than other characters. She can almost always play neutral better than other characters. She can almost always edgeguard better than other characters. She has so many tools available to her, and she is so consistent due to the fact that her hitboxes are all just like, they're all the same strength throughout the entire sword, and her sword is amazing. Back air is an amazing tool. Up air is an amazing tool. Nair, down tilt, her grab, her dancing blade, shield breaker's still a thing. Forward smash is really good that you can still combo it out of a nair and a down air. Like, this character is just nuts. This character, every single move this character has is so good. Every move this character has is so good. And yes, side B doesn't work correctly, and it's still so good. Like, this character, oh my god, she has so many options available to her. She's so strong. She has everything that she needs. She has literally everything in every single situation. Like, not the best of anything, but like, at worst, her worst things are like high tier. Like, she has a pretty good disadvantage state, just not good compared to some of the other top tiers, but like, that's not even bad. Like, that's still so good. Olimar is also a fantastically obnoxious character. This character just seemingly has it all. His camp game is so good and so obnoxious to get around because Pikmin are just so annoying as a projectile because they slow you down and they can hit your shield. Like, if they're on you and you shield, they'll tick your shield, and so sometimes you won't get out of shield punishes that you can ordinarily. His up smash is incredibly safe on shield. His kill potential in general is so good between back air, between forward air, forward smash, up smash, which again, as I mentioned, is safe on shield. Like, purple is just ridiculous in general. He has up throw with blue. That is really good. He can edge guard you with spikes and with forward airs and just consistent just hitboxes out there. His disadvantage would be bad, but now in this game he has sword aerials because his Pikmin are uninteractable in the air. They're intangible in the air. So he can just, like, if you jump at him, he can just throw sword down air or sword forward air, and that's it. And if you're trying to land, he sword up airs you and just keeps you in the air, and also can combo off of up air specifically. This character has it all. The only flaw of this character is he is light, and their only flaw is if you somehow kill all of his Pikmin and then hit him off stage, sometimes you will be able to kill him because, you know, he can't use his sword aerial, so you can kind of hit him away from his neutral air. But then if he guesses right and whistles, which has super armor, he's gonna land and then nair you and then up tilt you and then grab 3 Pikmin and run away and keep started all over. He does so much damage. His damage output's actually one of the highest, if not the highest in the entire game, off of random interactions that are also safe. Like, this character's nuts. I hate this character. And I feel like the character that generally people say is the best character in the game, and it is hard for me to disagree, is going to be Peach. Her disadvantage is one of the best in the game because float, and because different aerials, and because of side B, and because of counter, and because of up B. It's so hard to edgeguard her because of all those things I just mentioned. Even I, as ESAM, one of the best edgeguarders in the entire world, have a really hard time edgeguarding this character, especially due to side B. That move did not need a buff, but whatever. Her damage output is amazing. She hits a single float cancel nair, or rather like low float nair, or a down tilt or a turn up, and she can deal you upwards of 50 to 60%. New combos are being invented, such as the one I did on stream, which actually Void did before that, which was also a Twitter combo, which you can get 100% off of a single turnip throw. Like, that is ridiculous. Her combo tree just seems like infinite, and it seems like there's always new things, and it seems like there's always more, and her damage output is so high, and she can kill you, although not quite as easily as some of the other characters. Like, she's not an Olimar, she's not a Lucina, she's not even like a Pikachu or a Pichu in terms of killing, or definitely not a Snake, because she actually does struggle to kill, but eventually you will get hit by that fair. Eventually you will get edge guarded. Some characters just get countered, like Toad just kills so early, so if you're a character that has a hitbox on their recovery that's very easy to counter, or like it's linear, then she can kill you with that. She can forward air edge trap you. She can just eventually kill you with like a back throw or a nair out of shield or a back air out of shield, and those moves are just so strong and so good. Like, oh my god, this character is just nuts. She's nuts. She has everything available to her at all times, and like, yeah, she can struggle against swords, but I saw Samsora make a matchup chart that had not 8 losing matchups, which is crazy to me because I think Pikachu as like a pretty solid like top 5 character has like 2, and that just blew my mind. Although I do think that Shulk is hard for her, and I do think Lucina is hard for her. Like, I don't necessarily disagree with all of Samsora's opinions because they know Peach way better than me and blah 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 blah, but also I feel like I'm someone that I try to put my character in a high standing, and I feel like all the Peach players are kind of like annoyed that they're getting hate, so they're trying to downplay their character. But like, also being the best character and getting like hate for it, like, welcome to today's, like, it's just been like that. Like, people have always hated top tier characters, so one of those, like, embrace it and just be someone. Like, everyone loves Samsora. Like, no one hates Samsora. They just hate Peach because Peach is dumb. Peach is busted. She's nice. And yeah, that is going to be about it for this one, hopefully, because that was a really long video. That was I've been recording for 3 hours and 53 minutes. I misspoke a decent amount though, so hopefully it's like less than 2 hours for y'all by the time this is done. As always, social media, Panda, and partner stuff is down below, and I will see you all next time.